What's the general dummy operation? well. Oh, Doug, well, hand me that guitar. Hand me that guitar. Doug, let's get this show on the road. Here's when you'll know.
Hello, everybody. Ooh, my voice. Nice to see you all. Of course, we're doing another early stream today, so I know, we're taking people off their schedule, but I really appreciate you guys being here, hanging around. I've been really enjoying Ace Attorney Investigations 2. I definitely want to beat Case 3 today. That is my goal. I hope I'm close. No one tell me if they know the answer, because I would rather not know the answer and try to play it with as little spoilers. But yeah, it's been really cool. I still can't believe that Gregory Edgeworth bit. I mean, that really, I did not have that on my bingo card at all, which I think is, again, just like so freaking cool. I think this game, it's honestly like pretty amazing when you compare it to the first Investigations, because I think that game was fine, but maybe not as ambitious. This one feels a lot more ambitious. That's probably the best way that I can describe it. And I know Kwanzaa just beat the first one, so maybe he's got some different thoughts on that. But yeah, I don't know. Just very cool. Closer than you were when you started. That's true. This is true. Yes, no spoilers. Yes, no spoilers. And obviously, again, I liked the first Ace Attorney Investigations too. So that's not even that's not a dig. That's just how much I'm enjoying this one, you know. Okay, give me just a second to get it all prepped. I think we're loading. Yep. It took a lot of potential away, wasn't that bad? Yeah, like they focused too much on like characters that weren't related to Edgeworth, maybe? Is that how you feel, maybe? Alright, you have your orders. Go talk to Bound for me. Hey, Mr. Winter, weren't we gonna go talk to Miss Bound ourselves? Sure, but I thought, why not let the grunts handle the grunt work, you know? Means I can just sit back and wait for their report. A winning strategy. Hey, Kirito! He's so exhausting. I need a break. Huh? There's something in the fountain. Eek! Wait, what's in the fountain? What? Wait, what? Is that Miss Bound? What on earth? Wait, is that why her name is Bound? Or did she get bound? Oh my gosh, what the heck? Order in the court! Somebody call for forensics! Bad news, sir! Real bad news! Order! I will have order, detective! The ice sculptures in the Winter Wing. They've all melted. What? Did? Huh? Slay? Or say? Okay, Eustace right there being caught off guard. What is the meaning of this? Now we have 2 victims? Yeesh, talk about deja vu. It's just like 18 years ago. Even the ice is melted again. Again? This is like some weird rerun. Same people, same everything. I said it before and I'll say it again. This is no coinkydink. You with me, right, Malzarino? I am. And I think the answer lies in the IS-7 incident itself. In fact, I'm convinced of it. Heh, great minds think alike. Alrighty then. Time for another trip. Wait, what? We're being to Edgeworth again? Wait, this is such a cool case! Wait, are you serious? We get to be Gregory Edgeworth again? Okay, this is really cool. That's like back and forth that's happening. Yo! That's true, we're still Edgeworth. The last name stays the same. I still can't believe it was Gregory's last case, or that it's been 18 long years since. A murder at a confectionery contest, and one of the participants no less, Artie Frost. They pulled his body out of a treasure chest that was part of Samson Tangaroa's. He bit it in the head with a large rock salt lamp. They found the lamp hidden inside the Candy Castle. I can't speak today. I love that we quote right before to be considered. I know that is funny. But then before anyone had a chance to investigate Mr. Frost's own room, all of his icy creations had melted. This is wild. This is so cool. I like this back and forth between the past and the present. All of Mr. Frost's work destroyed. Kwanzaa, no worries, man. You can lurk or not. It's all good. You know, obviously I can totally respect not wanting to get spoiled if you haven't played it yourself. What do we do now, Mr. E? Can't believe you just up and kicked us out. Von Karma's a real jerk. Now, Eddie. It was always the job of the police and the prosecutors to investigate. Yeah, but you didn't have to talk to us like that. Who cares if we're cops or attorneys? We should all be working together to find the truth. You can't assume that everybody's aims are always the same as your own. You may wish to expose the truth, but others may prefer to accept things at face value. Which way of thinking is right will depend on the person. What if somebody innocent ends up behind bars because no one managed to uncover the truth? It can happen. We're all human, police and prosecutors included. Which is why defense attorneys exist. Our job is to help people in such situations. To be friends to the friendless. Friends to the friendless. Now, we may not be able to investigate the winter wing as hoped, but that doesn't mean we give up. You're right, Mr. E. I'm sorry. I should have thought more before I opened my big mouth. You're young, Eddie. You'll learn soon enough. Okay, I hope that she has not died, because I love this girl. And I hope she's... I'm afraid this is all I have, but please, by all means. Whoa, you're the best, Miss Bound! Chocolates. Thank you. Little sugar boost might actually help, though these are a little too sweet for my liking. And a little uniquely shaped. I'm sorry if they're not to your taste. No way, they're great. They're so sweet. Hehe, you're very kind. What is Night Witches? It's Action Adventure Bulletstorm. That sounds interesting. Action Adventure Bulletstorm. You mean you made this yourself? Samson loves chocolate, so I had to learn. Whoops. What the heck? Keeping him supplied with his favorite treats is just one of my many duties. Although he does spend most of the time coaching me on how to improve my technique. Mr. Tangaroa sure is a lucky guy. Getting to eat homemade sweets by the one and only Judy Bound. I'm sorry, did you say something? Nope, nothing at all. Dear sweet Eddie, you really do have a lot to learn. Oh man, Edgeworth's got the riz. Daddy Edgeworth has the riz. It seems you're quite committed to the work you do. Of course. What right would I have to say here otherwise? What do you mean by that? I was abandoned as a baby, and Mr. Tangaroa took me in. That's right. One snowy Christmas Eve many years ago, he found me on the steps of this very mansion. He saved my life and became the father I never had. I can never repay him, so my work for him is the least I can do, and I'll be here for him as long as he needs me. That's the most beautiful thing I've ever heard. I must be getting old. Oh, I'm welling up a little myself. Oh. And to think today is Christmas Eve. I can't even give him his present in person. I'd do anything to save him, anything. Please, if there's something I can do to help, just say it. We're very grateful, Ms. Bound. Perhaps you could help us by answering a question. Did you know the victim? Not very well, I'm afraid. Yeah, Yabuki, we just got back. I can't believe we're back to Gregory Edgeworth. I think it's so cool. My. They're stunning. Aren't they? I think they're masterpieces. Who would have thought you could make such intricate statues out of flavored ice? Samson adored them. Oh, hey, that's Taurus and Gemini, right? I didn't know you were keen on constellations and the zodiac, Eddie. Oh, I love it. The stories those stars can tell. Take Gemini, for example. See the lyre? That's what the harp is called. And the arrow and the... Hold up. The lyre doesn't have any strings. Huh. Did Mr. Frost forget to add them, maybe? Doesn't sound like something he'd forget to do. Wait, really? But I thought you just said you didn't know him very well. Oh, well, he didn't seem like the type. Just seems like she's got something to hide, too. You took this photograph yourself, Miss Bound. Yes, I used this instant camera. It develops the pictures as soon as you take them. It's so useful. Love to see it in action. Hee, well then why don't I take your picture? Yes, come on, Mr. E, let's get the shot of the both of us. Well, alright then. Be ashamed to waste a good hair day. Oh, can we get a selfie? I want to see this. It's because it's not a selfie. Show it. Show the photo. I want to see the man's hair. The only one we got, so we use it for all our picture-taking needs. It's very convenient, but the lack of negatives is something of a shame. So there aren't any negatives for us to reference, huh? I assume Mr. Tangaroa used the same camera in the contest. It was assumed correctly. He used it for some work-in-progress pictures of the seascape. And later to take photos of the other contestants' works. Didn't you take a picture of the body when you discovered it? And didn't you discover the body while the judging was still under the way? Oh yeah, Samson wanted pictures of all the entrance completed rooms. The film ran out as soon as he finished photographing Mr. Gusto's work. So he asked for me to put in a new cartridge. He seemed to think there should have been more shots left than there were. In other words, the film ran out sooner than expected. Didn't line up with the shots remaining. Maybe he lost track of it. I went to our living room to change the film when I heard the sound of something break and collapse. Samson? Are you in here? Ah! I like it, Shingo. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. I was in total shock. It was all too much. I remember I called the police and then I went to tell everybody else. And the camera, it's been with me ever since. No negatives. Of course, here you go. Thank you. Instant camera added. And frost sculptures. Detective Bad, Miss Scone! Are they done investigating? They're done with me, that's for certain. The big meanie told me to clear off. Honestly, that mannequins will be the end of me. The cheek of him. Guess he got tired of people cluttering up his crime scene. Did he run you off too, Detective Bad? Yeah. Von Karma seems to think I'm a nuisance. Can't do things his way with me around. Why would Mr. Von Karma go so far as to exclude his own lead detective? Still, got a pretty good look at the crime scene. As for Gusto, he's enjoying a nice little chat right now in Frost's room. About the fact that Ms. Bound said she saw him going in there during the contest. Mr. Gusto went to Mr. Frost's room? That's right, and I have to say he looked very much like he didn't want to be seen. I don't know what he could have been up to. Well, he's canon number 1 at the moment, as the guy who melted Frost's work. Is that really what Mr. Gusto went into Mr... Is that really why he went in there? Detective! Wow, Bad is so cool. Really, Detective Bad? Von Karma won't be happy? Yeah, well, I'm not Von Karma's stooge. If he's gonna stonewall my investigation, then I'm not gonna play by the book either. Can't let some pesky rules keep me from finding the truth. Now, can I, Mr. Edgeworth? Indeed. Thank you, Detective Bad. Damn, Bad is so cool. Can't believe you won him over, Mr. E. Well, I haven't the foggiest what you're all going on about, but here's some new friends, eh? It's definitely nice to have the good detective on our side, that's for sure. Alright, let's go take a look at that photograph. Here. This is what Mr. Frost's room looks like right now. Yikes, there's nothing left of his flavored ice. The liquid appears to be covered in a pale blue liquid. I should compare this to the photo I just borrowed. I assume that unplugged power cord has something to do with all this. Yeah, once that was out of the socket, the display cases lost power, and up the temperature went. Looks like they were all connected to the same strip. You have any idea when it was unplugged? Nope, still working on that. Those sculptures were beautiful, what a waste. You could say that again, I should have taken more bites out of them. So they tasted good? Did they ever? I've never tried ices so scrumptious in all my life. Really, man, I wish I could add a bite. Well, scrumptious except for the salty bit, of course. The salty bit? It's in the other photo you've got there. This bit, the harpy thing. Gemini's liar. Wait, that's why it had no strings? Because you ate them? I didn't eat that much, you cheeky little devil. I told you it was all horrible and salty. Wow. What an odd thing. All the witnesses in this world are weird, too. One part tasted different than the rest. Could someone be responsible for eating the rest of the strings? Did you notice anything else? It's so true, Sleazy. Well, there's his cousin, too. And I guess, Judge Gavel in this game, but you're right. Otherwise, it's pretty much just one old man. The pH. The signature. I just knew Mr. Frost wouldn't have made that harp without strings. He's not the type to skip an important detail like that. Hope you don't mind me asking, Miss Bound. But are you certain you didn't know Mr. Frost particularly well? What? No, I barely knew him, I swear. Is that so? You certainly seem to have some strong opinions. No, I just, the sculptures were so carefully made, I didn't think he'd missed something so important. I'm sorry, but I don't believe you. You have a more personal connection to his work than that. I have an item of evidence that appears to have been one of Mr. Frost's possessions, and it shares a key feature. Yes! Like Dade Man. Oh, what? Oh, the second. Okay. I have to show two. Wait, where's the second one? I guess this? No Dade Mans. 2 letters carved in Mr. Frost's ice sculpture. I think they were a signature of sorts. After all, it's unusual for an artist to initial their work. I guess not. That's right, dear. It's just like you said. Chillywinks' statues have the letters PH carved in them, plain as day. PH. Shouldn't it be AF? You'd think so, but take a look at this. It's the seal we found at the crime scene. When pressed on the surface of an item, it would leave behind the letters PH. The same pottery mark we've seen imprinted on the bottom of the items here. The same pottery mark. We've already established the T set is the work of the sculptor, Paul Halik. From that we can assume these same letters would mark any item as a piece of his work. A fact of which you are well aware, correct, Miss Bound? Well, yes. I know he always marks his work with his initials like that. He never revealed his true identity in public, so it's the only way to know his works are truly his. Never revealed his true identity? That's right, Detective. Artie Frost had another identity. He was no ordinary confectioner, at least as far as Miss Bound was concerned. Ridiculous. None other than the famed sculpture. Wait, Juniper Woods was I forgot she was a judge. She was studying to be a judge at the school. But it's not like the mark's hard to follow, though. Anyone who's seen him could fake being with it. Not exactly conclusive proof that Frost was who you say he was. It was proof enough for Miss Bound. What matters is that she believed it. His true identity will have to be investigated by the good people of the precinct. Huh. Alright. I'll have the boys look into it. I always thought she was so cute. I ship her and Apollo. More so than Apollo and Athena. So you admit it, you were aware who Mr. Frost really was. I love you, Shingo. When I discovered his body, I saw the seal you found. Don't ask me how, I just knew straight away that he was my dear Paul Halik. Imagine his entries in a confectionery contest were his final legacy, a great man like that. And to be honest, did you enter Mr. Frost's room at any point? What? Why are you asking me that? The photograph of Mr. Frost's room, I'd like to know where it was taken. Oh, I've gotten it mixed up with the other one Samson took. Objection! I'm afraid I find that rather hard to believe. You said yourself that the camera ran out of film during the judging. And now that you had charge of the camera since before. That's how you were able to take that picture when you discovered Mr. Frost's body. Yeah, I'm with you. Apollo and Athena are very similar. And that's a good rule. That's a good rule, Sleazy. One of Mr. Frost's body and one of this room. But I have a piece of evidence that says otherwise. Which piece of evidence contradicts the assumption that Miss Bound only took 2 photos? The fact that some are missing, right? Take that! The camera! You gave the picture of the body to the police, and the picture of Mr. Frost's room to me. Oh, and you gave us the picture you took of me and Mr. Edgeworth, too. 3 photographs in total, and yet the film cartridge only has 3 exposures remaining. Out of a total of 20, you took more pictures, and I want to know what of. I'll need to see all the photos you took. Perhaps then we'll finally learn what you were really up to. I'm so sorry. I confess, I've been lying to you. Huh. These are all shots of Frost's room. I'm so sorry. Looks like she took pictures of his work from every possible angle. And when they were taken, the ice still hadn't melted yet. Wait, don't tell me. It was you? It was. At least, I'm pretty sure it was. You are? Why? Well, you see, I'm a huge fan of Mr. Halik's work, as you know. I was petrified that they might be ruined, what with the investigation that was going on. So I thought I should at least capture the sculptures on film for posterity. And? How'd that make 'em melt? I think perhaps I was so intent on getting the perfect photographs that I might have tripped over the power cord without noticing. By mistake, are you sure? I didn't notice at the time, but well, how could I have been so careless as to cause the loss of his final masterpieces? Seems a little convenient to me. I'm not sure I believe it. But I'm not in a position to refute it either. I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to cause any trouble. Please, don't worry about it. The important thing is that you told us the truth. What he said, no hard feelings, Miss Mound. Thank you. Mr. Edgeworth. Picture's yours. Hope it helps. I love that, Sleazy. Sleazy, by the way, do you think there's still a chance you might come in October? No worries if you can. I feel like you had a concert some time ago, so... Are you infernal nuisances still here? You don't know when to give up. Linger for as long as you like, and the answer is still the same. You are not part of this investigation. Whether we're part of it or not, we'll uncover the truth nonetheless. It seems you don't know when to shut up either, but I commend you on your stubbornness. Mr. Von Karma, I'm afraid I'm the one responsible for Mr. Frost's work melting. What? What is the meaning of this? I'm so sorry, and to you, Mr. Gusto. Huh, no concern of mine. I didn't do anything, and Mr. Von Karma agrees. Nothing at all, Mr. Gusto. You went to Mr. Frost's room, didn't you? Perhaps you could tell us why. Sure, I was... Silence! You are not to give the attorney even the tiniest shred of information. Duty bound, you're coming with me. I have reason to believe that you are an accomplice of the accused. No, I will be interrogating you personally, so you'd better get your story in order. I understand. Wait, please! I'm not done questioning her myself. And you think I care because... Bad, Gusto, and you, Scone. I have questions for all of you, and I expect answers. Fine by me. Oh, you could at least ask nicely, mannequins. Wow. Edgeworth's two daddies fighting it out. Indeed. Well, I suppose there's still little point in us hanging around. Perhaps it's time to get going anyway. It's rather late. You're right, home time. Is he hungry? Guess my stomach's in agreement, too. Ha, alright, let's go grab a burger. Before my own stomach starts grumbling, too. Let's eat up and rest up. We'll need to be fighting fit for tomorrow. We will indeed. And our first port of call will be with Mr. Tangaroa. Oh, is that it for the past? I feel that, Sleazy. I feel that. Well, I guess I'll DM you before I forget, but no worries, man. Oh, there she is. Oh no, we're still in the past. Hey, it's Miss Bound. Oh, Mr. Fender. Mr. Edgeworth. I'm so sorry about what happened yesterday. She looks rather tired. Has Mr. Von Karma finished interrogating you? Yeah, he seemed only interested in how I melted them. Are you here to see Mr. Tangaroa? Yeah! So I can tell you that, I mean, there's several, I mean, honestly, I think there's maybe, I think we've got like maybe like 15 or 16 like hard confirmations. Oh, Detective Bad. And I hope Kwanzaa can make it too. I know you asked me last night about that too. But, again, you know, feel free to DM me. We can be private. We don't have to be public. Just happen to be here. I'll be heading back to the scene soon. Good morning. Mr. Tangaroa, what happened to you? Oh no, Samson, what did they do to you? They didn't seem to want to let me sleep. I had no idea interrogations could be so involved. Sorry if I seem distracted. I think I'm a little tired. They're not letting you sleep. That's not police work, that's torture. What's going on here, Detective Bad? I'm not the one doing the interviewing. It's the guy they put on the case before me. I like Von Karma's methods about as much as you do, which is why I'm doing what I can to help. Oh, so Von Karma keeps them up late at night? It was Detective Bad who got me out of there. I'd still be in the interrogation room right now if it weren't for him. Huh. Detective Bad really is trying to look out for Mr. Tangaroa, it seems. Alright, Eddie. Let's share yesterday's findings with Mr. Tangaroa. Mr. Tangaroa, we found out quite a bit if you'd like to hear it. Of course, thank you. Are you alright, Mr. Tangaroa? You seem kinda spaced out. I'm fine, I think my blood sugar might be running a little low. Samson! Do you have anything that might give him a little energy boost? Yes, actually. Some chocolates. That's right, Shrub. Is that chocolate for me? Oh, these are the chocolates I wish I could just give them to you, Mr. Tangaroa. But the rules here don't exactly allow me to do so. The founder of KFC in his younger days. That's terrible, Josue. Oh, Detective Bad, let him eat. Let the man eat. Let the man eat, Detective Bad. I hope Detective Bad is noting the meanful looks in his direction. Let me take a look at them. If they seem legit, I might consider passing them on to the suspect. Thank you, Detective Bad. My hero. I'm touched. Thank you, Detective. Yeah, whatever. Just sit tight. Maybe a lollipop for him, too. Here. You don't know how much this means to me. Yeah. Keep it down, will you? For both of our sakes. Of course, Detective. I wouldn't wish to put your livelihood at risk. I will say it's really interesting that the chocolates keep coming up as a plot point. I don't know. No one say anything, right? But I feel like there may be something to the chocolates in general. Now to sample these treats. Oh, they're sampling. Okay. Oh, no, they're sampling isn't eating. I didn't do it for you. It was for my own call. Guess you're not such a bad guy after all. Oh, the sweetness. I feel like a man reborn. Haha, were they your handiwork, Judy? Yes, how were they? Feel the melt, soft and smooth, chocolate that'll comfort and soothe, ear to ear, head to toe, smile and savor the taste as it flows. Delicious. They're not exactly beautiful, but they're sweet and oh so flavorful. I'm so glad you like them. And I'm glad you're back to your old self. My apologies, friends. The food they serve here was so flavorless, but between that and my lack of sleep, I was ready to collapse. Thank you, Shrub. I'm not really much of a singer. Just the usual French fries, ham sandwich. He couldn't taste a thing. Is that like the salty liar strings? Before you go, Detective, you have any new information to share? Oh yeah, you were right about the victim's identity. Frost worked as a sculptor in France, where he was known as Paul Halik. Artie Frost was Paul Halik? I would have never imagined. Poor Mr. Halik. So the famous French sculptor wasn't a Frenchman after all, huh? This would all certainly explain why Mr. Halik was such a... I wonder what the pun with those names are. He's got COVID, yeah, tomatoed. He's got COVID. Guess I'll never finish him now. He never finished his greatest masterpiece. Nah, seems he was making statues for each season. But he never got around to the winter constellations. The winter constellations? You mean Taurus and Gemini? So the two he made out of ice would have completed the set. Yeah, now they're nothing but puddles. What a bummer. I'm so sorry. Oh, Miss Brown, I wasn't blaming you. Seems he had himself a bit of a spending habit. See, this is so interesting because I don't think Judy Bound loved Paul Holik, so she wouldn't have killed him. And she clearly loves, our confectioner friend. So I feel like she's guilty in the present in some way, but maybe she was innocent in the past. Plus, I feel like, would Fender have really liked her company so much if he suspected her? Probably not. He was always strapped for cash. We're checking to see if there's any chance someone called in a debt. Oh. Do you have any idea why he entered the confectionery contest? None. God didn't even tell his family. Samson, yes. Thank you, Samson. Alright. Really gotta get going. I'll go fetch another guard. But I can't be hanging around here any longer. Understood, Detective. We'll see you again shortly. He's a good man. He certainly is. And an uncompromising one. Somebody who can be trusted to stand up for what he believes in. And to scare the pants if anyone knew! Now, you were going to tell me about what you learned yesterday. Of course. Allow me to give you a full report. Thank you for that. And allow me to apologize on Judy's behalf. I'm so sorry. It's fine, Mr. Tangerow, and as I told you yesterday, the important thing is that we learn the truth. Now, would you mind if I asked you a question or two? And by all means, I'll gladly share all I can. What can you tell me about the contestants who took part in the final round? Let's see. There was Miss Scone. I loved her design concept. Unfortunately, her entry was in violation of the rules, and so I had to disqualify her. Mr. Gusto's creations were a perfect balance of flavor and design, at least up until the semi-final. But disappointingly, his entry for the final was subpar on both counts. And there was actually something a little unusual at his entry for the semi-final. Which was... it tasted identical to Mr. Frost. They may have looked different, but I could have sworn I was eating the same thing. Wow, that's interesting. Oh, should be a photograph back at my mansion. I'll show it to you later, Mr. Edgeworth. Much appreciated, Ms. Bound. But Mr. Frost's final entry was truly sublime. So you were able to finish judging it, even though his body had been discovered in the meantime? Yes, I wasn't aware of what had happened until after I'd completed my assessment. Mr. Frost was in his room when I visited, so I took the liberty of sampling. Part of the liar, I believe. I never tasted anything like it. It was like a dream. I was so moved I burst into song. I'm sorry, but are you saying the liar tasted good? I'd like to hear more about that if you don't mind. Okay, I guess I can... Okay, I'll wait to share that later. Yeah, this is a good idea, Shingo. I mean, considering Von Karma's involved, and we know from Ace Attorney 1 the sort of shenanigans that take place. You're quite sure it was the liar you tasted? I'm certain of it. It was part of the Gemini sculpture, the only one in the display case. Tangerow, would you mind taking a look at this photograph for me? The part you tried was the liar, the one shown here without any strings. Oh, there were strings originally. That was the part I ate. So the strings were missing because Tangerow ate them, and he enjoyed them? Miss Scone told us that she ate a part of the liar as well, but she said it was far too salty for her to finish. Then it's true. The truth is, I've suspected for a while there may be something wrong with my sense of taste. Something wrong? How so? A taste disorder characterized by an inability to detect salty flavors. And I suspect I've been suffering from it. I eat so many sweet foods on a daily basis, it took a while for me to even notice. No denying it now. That would explain why the food here seems so bland. What? But your taste buds are your livelihood! Even if there was some long-term treatment option, I doubt a total cure exists. Nevertheless, you should put in a request to the police for a proper evaluation. Oh, that won't be necessary. I have a recipe for a cure back at my mansion. I do. You can take a good look at it for yourself. Samson, we can't show that recipe to just anybody. Judy, Mr. Edgeworth is hardly just anybody. He's my attorney and I have no secrets from him. Yes, you're right, of course. If that is what you wish. What on earth is the secret recipe for a miracle cure? Yeah, you're right, sir. Hence his name. Suppose I should be getting back. Alright, we'll be right behind you. Judy. Yes, Samson? There's more to life than just me. Please, Judy, think about the life you want to live. Because I won't always be around. Don't say that. Without you, I don't have a life to live. So I'll be waiting right there at the mansion until you come home. Now, if you'll excuse me. Wait, this is so sad. And the music. Judy. Whoa, she seemed really upset. I thought I saw tears in her eyes. Why'd you even say all that to her? Because I worry about her. She can't keep putting my needs ahead of her own. What do you mean? The Halik collection! The candy making! It's all because she thinks these things will make me happy. She never thinks about what she wants, what she likes. I just want her to be her own person and to choose her own destiny. The last thing I want is for her to miss out on all that life has to offer because of me. I guess that makes sense. He really does see her as his own child. What parent wouldn't want their child to walk their own path? And what parent wouldn't do everything they could to protect them? Wow. I know exactly how he feels in this moment. I love Gregory Edgeworth's theme. Oh, man. You're leaving, I see. I mean, look, say what you will about Von Karma. He is one of my favorite characters in the whole series. And I think there's no question, he is the best prosecutor villain that you go against in any of the games, you know? I don't think any prosecutor's ever quite come up to his level. We're putting something else in place. An ace up our sleeve for when the time comes. Ha! Look forward to learning more. I'm counting on you, Mr. Edgeworth. We'll be back to brief you, Mr. Tangaroa, every day. Thank you, Eddie. I'll look forward to it. Mr. Tangaroa, your interrogator will do everything in his power to extract a confession. A confession. I hate to see an innocent man suffer like this. But please, you have to do everything you can to hold out. If you can't, Mr. Von Karma will use that confession against you as long as this case lasts. And it will make that much harder for me to save you. I understand. And I'll try. I won't give up until you're out of here, Mr. Tangaroa. You have my word on that. Okay, I think every character in this case is so good. This is the third case in the game! This is the third case in the game, and it's freaking incredible! Like, what are you talking about? What? And this game wasn't localized for years? Come on now. Detective Bat, thank you for what you did earlier. Thanks a ton. Yeah, the OG Trilogy would be fun, Cal. I'll tell you, I'm gonna play it eventually too. Maybe I should get into an Ace Attorney binge. Honestly, I'm kind of in a good mood, and I'm already decorated with my Ace Attorney stuff in the background. Though I should take care of the DS games on the ones on my list as well. No need to be shy about it. Tis. Never mind that now. Well, I don't mean that, Suru. I meant more just like his presence, like his intimidating aura. Less about his actual legacy, which of course his legacy adds to that too, but more like he is just so frightening, objecting to everything you do, in firm control of everything. Like you're basically like Phoenix is looking for like every little inch that he can get in that case, which is just so cool. Elder Vampire, yeah, he's a what's the word, Methuselah? Well, I hate to break it to you, but apart from this room, the whole place is on lockdown. What? When to see those other rooms? This is Mr. Von Karma's doing, I presume. Who else? Haven't seen the autopsy report yet either. Guy's probably got a hand in that too. And don't expect to speak with anybody, except us cops and Miss Bound. Everybody else is gone, and I doubt Von Karma will be handing out phone numbers. Why does it have to go so far? So what's your plan of action, Detective? Same as before. Do what I can to help you uncover the truth. Like I promised. You have my gratitude. Just you wait, Mr. Von Karma. We're gonna beat you in your bag of dirty tricks. Yeah, and I feel like very few games have done that, penalizing you for pressing. Oh, you're right. That did happen. That did happen with Alba. That's true. When he's got his flight to catch or whatever. You probably won't be seeing those rooms again. That's fine, as long as there's at least some way of continuing our investigation, we'll make do. The statue's not found to pick cherubs. Paul Halik's work. Gotta hand it to him. They look so real. Detective, are you saying you have personally seen cherubs? Attorneys always poking holes in people's words. What, did I do something wrong? Bacon Bop. There's some of the few things in here that aren't made of candy. Does the detective seem a little disappointed? A Santa Claus statue made of candy. That is so cool. We should really do an Ace Attorney-like character tier list. Although I should play the great Ace Attorney games before I do that. Quite the trophy. Award to Tangaroa, first place, International Confectioners Association. Prize is fame, none of it lasts forever. Ms. Bound, we're here to continue our investigation. That's true. I guess Alba is a pretty memorable villain, especially consider when you compare him to Von Karma. He's such a little weasel. I found the photograph of the semi-final entries. Here, it's all yours. This music is so cheerful. Gang, I should really just get to them, especially considering I redid my background with the Ace Attorney stuff. Only problem was, as Samson mentioned earlier, they tasted exactly the same. However, their respective entries for the final tasted nothing alike, it seems. Was there anything else of note that changed between the semi-final and the final? And I own them already too. I have them for Switch, so that wouldn't be too crazy. Mr. Gusto's son was always here with him. Oh, Mr. Gusto's a son. That's interesting. Why would his son come and hang out at the contest venue? I have the book containing the recipe for the cure Samson mentioned. We've seen this book before. It was in the chocolate frame in Tangaroa's room. So it's not a book of recipes. Nobody told you yet. The contestants all knew what the ultimate cookbook was the whole time. Oh, chemical and pharmaceutical. And now all of a sudden, the little old lady's looking even more suspicious again, isn't she? Taste disorders and other chemical items. So if I understand correctly, the ultimate cookbook is actually a collection of recipes. Exactly, or rather totally new medications that haven't made it to market yet. To the right buyer, a pharmaceutical company would be worth a fortune. But why make that the grand prize in a confectioner? I'm with you, Mr. Bad. Mr. Tangaroa is the sole heir to the family fortune. Perhaps you've heard of the Tangaroa Group? The Tangaroa Group? Yeah, I think I've heard of them. It's a major pharmaceutical corporation. Sells all kind of pills and poisons. Oh yeah, that new cold killer pro's been making some real waves. I always reach for a cold killer when I'm feeling under the weather. Which is never, as far as I've seen. I'd like to hear more about the Tangaroa Group if you don't mind. Oh yeah, we're here cooking. Why did Mr. Tangaroa not want to take over the parents and go into the family business? Before they did making people's lives better through the power of confectionery. Confectionery. Then when they passed away, he inherited the cookbook. Find someone he felt was worthy of it. I bet the board of directors loved that. Handing over the fruits of all their expensive research to someone else who won a confectionery. Ah, this makes way more sense. They wanted to win the book back for them. So you knew she was a pharmacist all along? Yes. And not only that, I told her how to appeal to Samson's taste. I tried to help her win. Why? I wanted to protect Samson by protecting the Tangaroa Group. If that cookbook fell into another company's hands, the board would never forgive him. So I wanted to find a way to keep it within the company in a way that he couldn't object to. Yes, this makes so much more sense now. Mr. Frost wasn't really a confectioner either. And he still made it all the way to the final, just like she did. Not bad. It's unbelievable, isn't it? Such a talented sculptor and a gifted crafter of desserts, too. Gifted indeed, judging by the standard of his work in the final. But how did one man produce pieces of that size and quality in such a short period of time? That's an interesting thought right there. But if there's anything else I can help you with, I'd be happy to, of course. I love her. Please live in the present day. I love her. Well, hold up. How old is she? This is important. 16. I love her in the future. I would certainly use a cup of tea. That's not fair. That's not fair. 34-year-old. That's what I felt. Okay. That was the 34-year-old is the one that made the impression. Okay. That was, and I didn't know that either. That's not fair. That's not fair. I think this might help the investigation move along nicely. Your tea is to die for. Well, how could I possibly refuse? I'll bring it right out. Yes, 34. I'm 30 years old, gang. That's all right. What else is sus here? Excuse me, may I ask what you were investigating? Sir, I'm analyzing the fountain water. And what'd you find? Chocolate, what looks to be flavorings and other things. The composition of the chocolate seems to be that of Mr. Tangaroa's work. And the flavorings and colorings match the profile used. The little rivers. Guess that's how the stuff melted into it. And that's not all, sir. We also found blood. What? Why is there blood in the water? Yes, exactly, Shingo. Think back to our investigation. Take another look at the scene in front of us, detective. A pool of blood that should be or is clearly missing. Oh, so did it sink in the water? Oh, interesting. The victim's blood was mysteriously absent, as was part of the chocolate chest it was pooled on. I believe the blood probably belonged to the victim.
Take that!
So true, Kwanzo. I feel like, again, Japan must have different laws. The age must be different, you know. Wait, what's that sound? It's a match. I haven't heard that sound in a really long time. Why would somebody want to send the victim's blood downstream into the fountain? Well, that's true. We've learned a little more about the contest participants, but there's still one question involving Mr. Gusto, for which we never got an answer. You went to Mr. Frost's room, didn't you? Perhaps you could tell us why. Oh, right! Manfred. What was he doing in Mr. Frost's room? Also true, Shrub Ninja. Also true. 16-year-olds, they are so far... Their maturity is like... Yeah. Eat your donuts, Apollo. I need to ask Mr. Gusto a few questions. Me neither. I need to figure out how to get in touch with him. Oh, do you now? Hey there, Manny. Why does he have the same theme as Edgeworth, I wonder? That's so interesting. I think there's something to that, to be honest with you. Good luck with that, because I have no intention of allowing it. Mr. Von Karma. I'm already in the midst of my own investigation into Gusto, so there was no need for the likes of you to pester him with the same questions again. Tisk tisk. Wait! Von Karma has an earring! I have never noticed that Von Karma has an earring. All of a sudden, I'm seeing a new side of him. He seems dead set on preventing me from talking to Mr. Gusto. Fine, then allow me to take you up on your offer. Very well. What is it? I'd like you to tell me about the connection between Gusto and Frost. The connection between Gusto and Frost. It was simply a matter of coincidence. They both happened to be taking part in the same contest. It's just... Okay, something about this from Von Karma is really funny. It's the don't waste any of my time mindset. And his first statement is just like it's like a nothing. That's all I have to say to you. What? But that doesn't help us at all. We'll have to confront him with evidence if we want to draw the truth out of him. And it's imperative that we do. He's clearly hiding something. That's true. Francisca has it too. Good point.
Hold it.
Let's press this just in case. Granted, it may have simply been a coincidence. But that doesn't rule out a connection of some other kind. I do hate to repeat myself, but if you do not have any pertinent evidence, then kindly keep your mouth shut. I guess I'll just do as he says for now. At least until I find the evidence that proves their connection. The look in your eyes speaks volumes. Go on then, what are you trying to say? Seems Von Karma's keen to keep us away. I know, it's so deep. See, I've always felt like that was Edgeworth's theme, right? Because isn't it called Great Revival? And because you first hear that song when he shows back up again in Ace Attorney 2. But it is really interesting that song extends itself to the rest of the family.
Hold it.
There's been a connection of some kind. If you would cease your baseless interruptions, I will happily tell you what it is. If this were a courtroom, I would have you removed for contempt. Yeah, a Judge Von Karma would probably have danced into his tune. Even judges are scared of him. Won't be an easy trial, that's for sure. It's Gusto and Frost. This by the way, this arrangement is so good. I love this remix of the song. I'm thinking is it the cookbook?
Objection.
I guess not. Odd thing to say, considering how it contradicts with this. I've got to think of something. This is interesting. Because it's Gusto and Frost, right? Oh, what about their items tasted the same? Their items tasted the same. There we go. There we go. That's it. That's it. I wonder if you could look at the two confections in the foreground for me, Mr. Von Karma. They were made for the contest semifinals. Both are quite exquisitely crafted, wouldn't you agree? Get to the point. As the nameplate suggests, there was Mr. Gusto and Frost. They told us the confectionery. Yet his work is just as good as Mr. Frost, exactly as good. We learned it from another witness that their two witnesses' entries also tasted the same. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting that we're helping one another out. Take a closer look, shall we? Well, at first glance, the two may appear to be superficially different. It soon becomes apparent there are significant similarities in how it was put together. They are made of the same ingredients, taste the same, and share a similar design aesthetic. This picture is proof positive they were working together. Huh. If you figured out that much, I suppose there's little point in denying it. Are there no honest bakers? Mr. Von Karma knew all along they were cooperating. But I'll warn you, none of what you're about to hear will be to your advantage. Let me confirm what you seem so desperate to prove. They were indeed working together. Gusto spelled out this music. They spelled the details of his relationship during the questioning. It seems they were helping one another right up until the day before the final. So you knew they were cooperating. Mr. Von Karma, why are you trying to bury the truth?
Objection.
Please, enough with the petty slander. I merely wanted to avoid you poking your nose before I could provide proper context in court. It simply slipped my mind. I need to use a deeper voice like this. Doesn't explain why he's being so slippery with the facts, though. I need to figure out what it is he's hiding. There is something so surreal about seeing Gregory Edgeworth and Von Karma at it. It's really freaking cool. They were indeed working together. Gusto spelled out the details. Let's try this.
Hold it.
Last night, after Mr. Frost's work melted. Yes, I interviewed Gusto personally. Yeesh, a one-on-one with Von Karma. I imagine Mr. Gusto probably mediated through it. He most certainly did not, every time he closed his eyes. I brought him back with an almighty snap. No one dares to plead the fifth with me. Did that even work on him? And that is how I was able to perfectly learn every last detail of their relationship.
Hold it.
But why were they cooperating? Gusto's sense of design is subpar, and Frost was an amateur confectioner at best. Neither of them stood a chance of making it through the contest alone. So what was their endgame? Why cooperate only until the day before? That's right, Kwanzo, yeah. Allegedly, he wanted to win the finals on his own merits. His one and only goal was really to be crowned the world's best confectioner, and his pride would not allow him to do so with the help of another. I was under the impression that their collaboration had only lasted through the semifinals, but I'm starting to think it may have lasted up until the final itself. Mr. Von Karma, I'd like to ask you some more about how long they worked together for, if you don't mind. If you must. Yeah, good point, Sleazy. No loose ends or holes, yeah. sense of design is subpar, and Frost was an amateur confectioner at best.
Hold it.
We could object to that probably, but let's try pressing it first. I'm not objecting to your characterization of Mr. Gusto's design sense. He made himself isn't all that great. Yeah, I kind of like the guy's work. An artistically rich amateur, an artistically impoverished professional. In a way, it was inevitable that they would wind up working together. As to Mr. Tongoro's assessment, it sounds as if Mr. Frost's entry was the clear winner. He still must have been working with Gusto, right? Must have some evidence that proves they were cooperating.
Objection.
Darn, I was hoping her saying it was scrumptious would be good enough. I guess the salty part was interesting, though. I mean, Frost was gonna win. Where can I get something that talks about how Frost was the winner? You know, I've never seen Monk. Maybe it's not this, but it's weird, because it's really not scone? Talking about how it was scrumptious? Maybe we should press everything.
Hold it.
You really believe that they were cooperating until the day before the finals, and then just simply stopped? That seems a little strange to me, wouldn't you agree? I have told you the truth. Whether you find it strange or not is none of my concern. He was concerned enough to hide it from me only a few moments ago, though. Look at that smug smile Edgeworth has. Must have been a reason for that.
Hold it.
So you did know that there was a connection between the two. Why were you trying to hide it? I don't hand out information like candy. Not like that lollipop nursing fool of a detective over there. You do things your way and I'll do them mine. Huh! And you wonder why I refuse to share information with a traitor like you. It really does feel legendary, too. That's the coolest thing about it. It absolutely feels legendary. It has to be this. It's got to be Frost being an amateur confectioner, you know? Is it the fact that they tasted the same? I'm so surprised it's not this statement that Frost tasted really good. That is what I presented, right? Huh. Oh, what about this?
Objection.
Oh, darn. I was thinking maybe having the seal would mean that he was a pro. What else would prove that Frost was not an amateur? You think the photo? Like the camera? Oh, you mean this one? Oh, that's true! Wait, I like that sleazy because this shows his skill.
Objection.
Regardless of taste, right? Oh, really? That not even that? Wait, what the heck? Okay, this is tough. Maybe it's a different statement. They cooperate until the day before the final. Maybe it's this statement. Oh, you think the cake again? That'd be interesting. We could try the cake. Yeah, let's go for it.
Objection.
Okay. This is tough. So yeah, maybe there's something that proves that they still were cooperating at the end. What would prove that they are still competing? Or that they were still cooperating? Oh, Kits, you're good, dude. You're good. I'm sorry I started early, but yes, you're all good, my friend. Nice to see you, dude. Kind of stumped right now. Oh, how about this? Is it possible for them to have done all these together?
Objection.
Oh, man. This is hard. Nope, not really. No, you didn't really miss too many scun scenes. In fact, I don't think she talked about anything at all, really. But I will say she looks a little sus. She looks a little more sus. She was basically an undercover agent trying to win back the prize. That was this cookbook that was the prize. Wow, this is really tough. The moon is... This is a teapot that was made by the victim, Artie Frost. She can cook and she can cook. Well, I don't think I can present the profiles, but... Yeah, the Pharmacal Pseudo Secrets, do you think that's the reason? Okay, hold up. I'm gonna run to the restroom real quick. I'm gonna keep thinking. If you guys have ideas, let me know. Oh, this is tough. Hey there, Jacob. Yeah, Jacob. We're up against Von Karma. Oh man. I was thinking, how is it possible that one man could make all these sculptures? This is really tough. Found inside Tangaroa's room, inside a chocolate chest. Part of the treasure chest covered in blood is missing. You failed, Phoenix! What do you mean, Pizza Roll? Nice to see you. This is so hard. Sounded like Frost was the clear winner. And if Frost was the clear winner, maybe the scone goes here.
Objection.
Oh my gosh, I'm so dumb. So I just picked the wrong statement because you guys know that was the first thing I went for, was that statement. I guess I just picked that evidence. Okay, this makes sense. You failed the case. What case was it, Pizza? I find that a little hard to believe. Miss Scone is on record having described the creations as scrumptious. And while it was certainly skilled, I doubt even he could have become a world-class confectioner overnight. It seems far more likely to me that he and Mr. Gusto were still cooperating. How many times must I explain this to you? Assertions require proof, and one's person's entirely subjective statement is not proof of anything. Besides, even amateurs can occasionally make delicious food. My wife, for example, is an amateur whose cooking puts first-class chefs to shame. Okay, I've never even thought about Karma's wife. How is that not an entirely subjective statement? Ignoring another crucial part of the testimony. Namely, she described some of Frost's work as having been unbearably salty. In other words, your evidence actually shows that Frost failed to produce the perfect confectionery. Tisk, tisk, tisk. No more objections, I take it. There must be some way I can prove that Gusto and Frost were still collaborating. Mr. E, there's something that's been on my mind. Yes, what is it, Eddie? Mr. Frost's entry for the finals, wouldn't it have taken him a while to make? I would imagine so. Making flavored water, freezing it, and then carving 2 whole sculptures? Could he really have done all that and help Mr. Gusto with his work? Wait, really? Okay, I should replay the first game again. He has a second daughter? Wow. I just can't see Mr. Frost could have pulled it off. Perhaps there's some lawyerly instinct in you after all, Eddie. Your pondering certainly points to another possibility. Eddie's right. Mr. Frost would have needed to freeze his own large blocks of flavored ice. And there wouldn't have been time to do that during the contest itself. Whoa, making it out of something else entirely? That's intriguing. Okay, I guess not. Alright, it's definitely the day before then. You must have made the flavored ice the day before. What are you muttering about now? I'm sorry, I just realized something, that's all. I realized that you're correct. What? Mystery! Hope you know what you're doing. Oh, accepting defeat at last, are we? Only thing I'm accepting is that perhaps one of the things you said was true. They were helping one another right up until the day before the final. Just as you said, the day before the final really did mark the end of their collaboration. Mr. Frost's entry was carved entirely from blocks of flavored ice. Oh, this song is so good. And whose flavors would have already been prepared by Gusto? Huh. Yes, which lines up perfectly with what Gusto told me, that he helped Frost the day before. In that case, why did Mr. Frost reciprocate and help Mr. Gusto in return? I can hardly be expected to read the minds of the dead. Perhaps not, but I imagine Mr. Gusto could tell us, so why don't you let us speak with him? Or do you still insist your interrogation was as thorough as you claim? How? How dare you call my methods into question? That's not my intention. I just don't understand why you would obstruct a perfectly valid line of inquiry. Give me one reason as to why you're keeping Mr. Gusto from me. Huh! One good reason, certainly. The how and why of Frost and Gusto's collaboration has no bearing on this case.
Objection.
How can you possibly say that with any certainty? If their relationship had broken down for some reason, that could have very well been the motive behind this murder. Could it indeed? Then why did Gusto himself tell me all about it? Why did the man you seem so keen on accusing share the details of his collaboration? Please tell me you have some proof to back up your preposterous suspicions. Mr. Gusto only acted suspiciously one time that we know of, and I imagine Von Karma is aware of exactly what that suspicious action was. Which means this is probably a trap. Oh my gosh, Edgeworth. Gregory Edgeworth, you're so freaking cool. You're so freaking cool. But even if this is a trap, I can't back down now. No, Pizza Roll. There's a little bit in the crossover with Professor Layton. If that's your only concern, then allow me to clear it up for you. I knew it. It was a trap. I was saving this for the trial, but consider it a taste of things to come. Plus, I'd hate for the proceedings to drag on because of your needless interjections. Here, take a look at this. That's Gusto and Frost and their sons. Gusto snuck into Frost's room. But why? Seems their sons attended the same elementary school. Gusto was concerned with the fact of Mr. Frost and his acquaintance might place him under undue suspicion. A concern that you have disproved was entirely well-founded. And you have given me no reason to believe otherwise. No! Yeah, I thought they were gay lovers, Shrub. Is that what you thought too? He's never gonna let me talk to Mr. Gusto. Now, if you're quite done obstructing my investigation, I have things to be getting on with. That smug, self-righteous jerk. What do we do, Mystery? Things to be getting on with. What exactly could those things be? He has a body, a murder weapon, and a suspect in his custody. If the prosecution means to pursue Mr. Tangaroa, surely they have all they need. So why is Mr. Von Karma still investigating the scene of the crime? I love it. Edgeworth has such a good hunch. We're missing something. Something important. Mr. Von Karma has everything he needs to proceed with a prosecution. And yet, he still doesn't seem entirely confident of his case. He needs his perfect proof. If he was, why refuse to share information with Detective Bad? Who else? Haven't seen the autopsy report yet either. Guy's probably got a hand in that too. Oh my gosh, is this the leap of logic we got here? In addition, we still haven't solved the mystery of what happened to the evidence that went missing. The blood that fell out? A very conspicuous pool of blood that should be there is missing. You're right. Evidence that turned up in a most unusual place, the fountain. It's a match. The blood in the fountain is Frost. So there were no traces of Mr. Frost's blood left. Yet we found some in the fountain instead. Why? Mr. Frost's blood went missing from the crime scene. But traces of it showed up in the fountain. Why go to the trouble of removing the blood from the scene after the body had been discovered? And why only the blood? Surely the body would have also been in the way. Wait, could someone have moved the body aside to get to the blood? So the body might have been moved aside, or even removed from the scene of the crime entirely. After all, as far as we know, there's still no autopsy report. We've learned plenty about the murder weapon and the suspect, but very little about the body itself. Our assumption thus far has been that the body had been recovered by the forensics team. But what if that assumption is false? What if Mr. Von Karma wouldn't show Detective Bab the autopsy report out of something other than spite? What if we've been thinking about this the wrong way around all along? The question isn't why did Mr. Von Karma hold back information? It's, did he even have any information about the body in the first place? How do things look from that angle? Perhaps the body hadn't been removed by the police in order to carry out an autopsy. Perhaps it had already been removed and hidden away by the culprit before their arrival. Mr. E? We both heard the rumor about Mr. Von Karma's questionable methods. Fabricated witness statements, shady deals, forged evidence even. Sure, everybody's heard of that stuff, but what's that got to do with us right now? I would never judge a person on the basis of rumors alone. Even Mr. Von Karma, I've tried my best not to let my preconceptions color our interactions. That is true, I believe that you did, Gregory. Nonetheless, it appears he may indeed be willing to twist the truth to his own ends. Twist the truth? You mean he's been playing dirty? I fear he might have been, and still is. And I'm not about to let him get away with it. You're so cool. Is this it? Are we going in? Don't breathe a word about this to that infernal attorney. Yes, sir.
Hold it.
Yes. What is it now? I have a few questions, Mr. Von Karma, about a certain fact you've been keeping from us. Really? You mean to call the methods of an officially sanctioned investigation into question yet again? I'm warning you, if you obstruct the police in their work any further, there will be consequences.
Objection.
It's not the police I have an issue with, Mr. Von Karma. It's you! What? Isn't it on the prosecution to work out who the real culprit of a crime is? Huh! What foolishness is this? I have no intention of debating with the prosecution's role or isn't with the likes of you, but let me make one thing clear. My job is to identify suspects and to ensure that every last one of them is convicted at all costs. Believe me when I say I leave absolutely no room for doubt.
Objection.
And how far would you go for your perfect cases? Would you create facts out of the whole cloth, perhaps? Ha! And I thought you had outdone yourself already. But now you intend to accuse me of fabricating evidence. I do! Because it is why you've done nothing but hinder Detective Bad from doing his job at every turn. What are you talking about? You didn't shut him out of the investigation because you wanted him to keep an eye on us. You did it to stop him from finding out you don't have the body. What? He doesn't have the body? Ridiculous! You're clutching at straws. I will tolerate no more of your preposterous slander. Then allow us to examine it! Prove me wrong if you can! Tisk, tisk, tisk. I'm afraid you'll have to try a little harder than that. I'm under no obligation whatsoever to prove your baseless accusations.
Objection.
As you must have seen for yourself, a piece of bloodied chocolate is missing from the scene of the crime. Why did it disappear? And where did it go? What does it matter? Some blood went missing from the chest where the body was found, so what? So what indeed? That's precisely my question. If the body was still at the scene when the police got here, removing the blood would accomplish nothing. However, let us suppose for a moment the body was not. If someone had wanted to erase any trace of what had happened in that room, then it all makes perfect sense. What is this petty obsession with the bloodstain? But since it's so important to you, why don't you tell me where you believe it went? Of course. After all, evidence is everything, as you never tire of telling us. I believe this should back up my theory quite nicely. The fountain. Well, I guess this could work too. Maybe? No. I mean, it trickled from the fountain. Where the blood from his room went. Maybe it did go in here. Remember in the future we saw that it was bloodied? This is kind of a leap here. Damn it. Okay. No. Bummer, bummer, bummer. Wonderful. Perhaps you could disappear to the same place you put yourself. No. Hey, Sharkroz, what's the hoop, dog? If that's all you have, then I'll be on my way. I have better things to do than to listen to this nonsense. No, wait. There's something you have to see before you go. Okay. The salt lamp? Shows where the blood went. He took it to make this fake evidence.
Take that.
No, are you serious? Okay, this is really scary. This is very scary. I thought that was it. I thought that was it because that's saying that that Von Karma fabricated that too.
Hold it.
Yikes. Oh boy. Shows where the blood went. Oh! Oh my gosh. Wait, there's just actually the victim's blood. How did I miss that? Traces of the victim's blood were found in the fountain. That was, and you guys heard me. I did literally say that first. I did literally say that first. I just didn't realize I had evidence that was straight up that. Along with traces of the chocolate from his room. I believe the missing piece of blood-stained chocolate was dumped into the stream. Which strongly points towards one certain fact. Someone purposefully disposed of the blood after the body had been removed. Mr. Von Karma, where did you find the body? You didn't find it, did you? Answer me! You! Where did you get your hands on that kind of evidence? You have neither the authority nor the means. No, but I do. Curse you, bad! You've been a thorn in my side from the moment you were assigned. Well, no longer. As of now, you're officially off the case. Huh. I was barely on it in the first place. Mr. Von Karma, you still haven't answered my question. Yeah, thank you, Kits. That's kind of what it was. Will you admit it? Will you confirm that nobody was ever recovered? Tisk, tisk, tisk. It's really quite the claim, you know. And for one for which you'll never find any proof for, I'm afraid. What must I do to get an answer out of him? Now, if you don't mind, I have given you quite enough of my precious time already. I look forward to destroying you in court, Gregory Edgeworth. Your precious logic and theories won't save you then. Nothing will. Mark my words, Von Karma. Your methods will be your undoing. No matter how you try to hide the truth, I'll bring it all to light in the end. Forgive me, Detective. I didn't mean to put you in a difficult position. Don't sweat it. It was always gonna end this way. Honestly. Nobody's ever sidelined me the way he did before. First time for everything, huh? You know, I think you might be right about the body being missing. I am, and I'll prove it in court. Well, if there's anything I can do to help, just say the word. Since you know I'm off the case now. That's very kind, and I'm sorry to keep asking favors of you, Detective Bad, but there is one more thing. He's a defense attorney, though he looks like a PI, huh? What are you guys whispering about? Come on, let me in. All right, Eddie. The detective and I were just arranging a little insurance for the trial. I think we have enough to see Mr. Tangaroa acquitted. But I'd prefer to have an ace in the hole, just in case. And? What is it? You'll find out in the courtroom. Wait, what? You're letting me join you? Of course I am. You're my assistant, after all. Ha! I'll be more than that by next year. I'll be a full-fledged attorney, you know? We can take on Mr. Von Karma together. Indeed. Though I'm hoping we'll have freed Tangaroa by then. But if we're up against Von Karma, I guess we can't rule out the possibility that this might take some time. I know you can beat Mr. Von Karma, Mystery. I believe in you. We can't allow Mr. Tangaroa to remain in prison for a crime he didn't commit. And we won't. I'll expose Mr. Von Karma's lies if it's the last thing I did. To be continued. Man, this is way too cool. Alright, that's probably the end of the flashback there. I'm curious what the ace in the hole is. Maybe it was him. Maybe they were prepping, maybe they were prepping Bad to reveal that there was no body. You know what I really want? And again, no one confirmed this for me. What I want is Edgeworth to talk with the Von Karma of today in prison. That is what I want. I want it so badly. And that's pretty much how things went down. Sorry, give me a second here. I'm finally learning the truth about my father's last case. Oh, really? Trials and tribulations? He died in prison or something? Really? I didn't know that. Well, we lost. Von Karma did a real number on us. Really? You couldn't prove Tangaroa was innocent? Oh, we could prove it all right. Had a decent little pile of evidence in our favor. Problem was, we underestimated Von Karma. He fought even dirtier than we feared. I can imagine. Secure conviction at all costs, that was always his guiding principle. Yeah, ain't that the truth. Anywho, the trial dragged on and on. Whole thing took about a year in the end. I'll never forget the day the verdict came down. December 28th that following year. It's April now, so... Oh, mama. We're talking over 17 years ago. Time sure does fly, huh? December 28th. I was there that day, 17 years ago, sitting in the courtroom gallery. We're gonna see the elevator? Just before the trial got started, Gregory noticed that Samson was looking even worse than usual. Turns out the poor guy had finally reached his limit. It was so bad, he even said he wanted to be found guilty. Wait, you mean they forced a confession out of him? Yeah, Von Karma got what he'd been pushing for from the very beginning. And when Gregory tried to drop the bombshell on about there being no body to speak of, he learned that Von Karma had used the power of the police to head him off that pass. Even had himself a fake autopsy report, but that wasn't the end of it. Von Karma had gotten Samson to falsely testify against himself to being an accessory to murder in court. Combined with his confession, the poor guy's goose was well and truly cooked. But Gregory still has an ace in the hole, though. The same ace he asked Detective Bad to help him with. Exactamundo. He knew he needed one last card to play if they squeezed a confession out of Samson. So he had Bad record all of Samson's interrogations! I guess Detective Bad really wanted to know the truth too, huh? We all did. But he was a trooper. Stayed with the case even after Von Karma took him off of it. He was tied up in some other big case too. Good old Bad. They don't make him like that anymore. It makes me emotional, actually. Bad is so cool. Look at him! Anyway, Gregory presented the recordings as proof that Samson's confession was coerced. And you know what? It almost worked. A cop named Ian Seidman got fired. Samson's interrogator and the initial detective, before Bad, he took the fall for pretty much the whole thing. But Von Karma didn't get away scot-free. In fact, he was disciplined by the chief prosecutor. For the one and only time in his 40-year career. Still, Samson himself couldn't stomach another day in court. So when that guilty verdict came down, it didn't just signal the end of that day, but of the whole sad affair. I don't remember a lot myself, but my father's face when they declared Mr. Tangaroa guilty. I was a young child at the time, but even I could tell how much he was hurting inside. Gregory wanted to appeal the ruling, of course. He would have done anything to clear Samson's name. But then, well, you know what happened next. Poor guy. He never got the chance. I should have left with him that day. I'll always blame myself for not doing that. But I shoved that aside and obsessed over something else instead. Or rather, someone else. I hated what you did. Hated you for choosing to stick with Von Karma. Wow, this is making me so emotional. Hope you can forgive me. No, you had every right to hate me. I went on to become a prosecutor as planned, and that's when Mr. Von Karma showed me this case file. According to these records, Mr. Tangaroa was convicted as the main culprit. Nope, that's not quite right. Samson was convicted as an accessory to murder. Strange. The file clearly states that he was the perpetrator. Plus, I'm fairly certain that all of Mr. Von Karma's cases were successfully solved. Might I take a peek at those? This file's been doctored. The part about the verdict, it's been changed. What?! Here, feast your peepers on this. So this must be when the board that oversees prosecutors was created. Convicted as an accomplice. That's a copy of the file they have on record at the courthouse. Then why is my copy so different? Well, you said it came from Von Karma, yeah? My guess is he didn't want Gregory's son thinking there was a murderer out there still at large. Didn't want you looking into it again before the statute of limitations was up. So everything I believed about the case was a lie. Like they say, we all gotta start somewhere. What's important is that you know what's what now. The statute of limitations may have run out, but the truth's still out there, you know? I inherited Samson's case when your old man passed. Prosecution handed it off to somebody else, too. The great Von Karma wasn't gonna bother facing off against a rookie like me, was he? Anyway, long story short, the killer was never found, and Samson was found guilty instead. Not without the real perp, I'm afraid. Until then, his confession stands. Speaking of which, I didn't find out until after the verdict had been handed down, but Von Karma had threatened Samson and made him a deal. Told him if he didn't confess, he'd make sure Judy was convicted instead. Wow. Samson knew there was no way Judy could have done it, of course. But he wasn't going to take any chances, so he did what he was told and confessed to keep her safe. Now riddle me this, Milesy boy. Why do you think your Uncle Eddie just happened to be in the prison the day Bronco Knight died? Oh, that's right. You were there to see Mr. Tangaroa. Bingo. Judy and I both promised we'd visit him every day. Didn't quite keep that promise. But Judy did. She never missed one visit in all these years. Come rain or shine, she always showed up. And none of that changes the fact that Samson is still being unduly punished day after day. Cito. How heartbreaking. We gotta do something, Mr. Fender. Well, kiddo, that's actually why we came here. The ice sculptures are back on display, just like they were all those years ago. And we're gonna see what we can find out. Right, Malzarino? I'm a prosecutor, Fender. I don't look at these things in the same way as you or my father. Miles. But that doesn't matter right now. Speaking not as a prosecutor, but as Miles Edgeworth. I want to know the truth behind both of these cases, and I'm not leaving until I do. Heh, you really are old Gregory's son through and through. Alrighty then. Now that's sorted, we can really get to work. Good thing I brought the IS-7 case file and evidence with me today, huh? Here, documents first. Who doesn't love paperwork, am I right? The parts in red ink are my annotations. Oh, I've never seen that movie, Daedalus. I've never seen that. Thank you, Fender. And here's some evidence for you. Enjoy. There's quite a few, so I'd take a minute to scope them out if I were you. Small amount of evidence. Wait, Cito, don't get any bright ideas. You know, our current case is full of loose threads too, come to think of it. Indeed. The key players of that incident 18 years ago who just happened to get caught up in another incident. The ice sculptures are perfect replicas. The poison gas attacked in the Autumn Wing, which has been disguised to look like the Winter Wing. The two chemicals that were found inside the Pisces statue's display case that form a poisonous gas when mixed together. The victim of the gas attack, Carmelo Gusto, who was no stranger to these events, and who is still unconscious and undergoing treatment. And finally, we come to the body, floating face down in the fountain. Wait, that might be Artie Frost! Wait, is that possibly Artie Frost's body? Wait. That may have been Artie Frost, and maybe his body was frozen and preserved? The events of the present day would appear to be intimately linked with the events of the past, which means they may be able to help us learn more about what happened 18 years ago. Sounds good to me. Let's get investigating.
Objection!
Oh, no you don't. Aren't you forgetting somebody? I could have sworn this is my investigation. Eustace is quite right. I hope you aren't intending to obstruct him in his duties, Mr. Edgeworth. I would hate to have to add a guilty to my report to the committee. I feel like the committee was founded as a result of Von Karma's history. What am I guilty of now? Of course not. I'm simply offering once again to do what I can to help with the investigation. Your offer is duly noted and duly declined. Oof. She isn't pulling any punches. This is so suspicious. Edgeworth is like one of the top prosecutors. Straight up, during the Zhangfa incident in this game, the chief prosecutor called for Edgeworth. It is so suspicious that they are constantly obstructing him. The identity of the body from the fountain is currently being ascertained. It is only a matter of time before we have all the information we need. Okay, the only thing I'll say is maybe Gavel was also impacted by Von Karma, and maybe she suspects Edgeworth of forging evidence. Maybe. Maybe. But even then, oh, it's sus. It's real sus. Perhaps I can help you speed that process along. I think I have an idea as to who our mystery victim might be. have to tell me. Very well. Maybe it isn't the ice sculptures that have resurfaced. The body in the fountain may also be a visitor from the past.
Take that!
I believe the body in the fountain is that of the man who was murdered here 18 years ago. Mr. Artie Frost. What? You said that was poor Chillywinks? Wait, who the heck is Chillywinks or Artie or whoever you're talking about? Artie Frost was a famous sculptor, Eustace, although he was better known as Paul Halik. The sculptures on display here are all his works. No way. Sounds like he did well for himself. Always good to encounter a fellow winner. Mr. Frost was also the victim in the IS-7 incident. Judge Gavell knows about the IS-7 incident? Mr. Edgeworth, the IS-7 incident is an 18-year-old case. And according to police records, the victim's body was recovered and an autopsy duly carried out. Sure, that's what the records say, but the records can't always be trusted. What are you insinuating? That while the records say stuff like body totally recovered, the defense back then begged to differ. Not that it stopped the prosecution from shutting them down hard, of course. Yeah, this is Winner. What? Really? What is it, Eustace? The body. We've got an ID. Some sculptor called Frost or something? So I guess Edgeworth called it? Goddess of Justice! Huh. So my father's deductions were right all along. Well, Judge Gavell, I'd say this changes things, wouldn't you? Perhaps now you'll admit that I might be of use to this case, more than a certain junior prosecutor anyway. No fair, you're trying to steal the win! I'm doing no such thing, all I want is to uncover the truth. And if we're going to get to the bottom of what happened here, we'll need to work together. We do not need to do anything, and you do not need to know the truth. This case is none of your concern.
Objection!
Whoa there, Judge G. I think you might be wrong about that. Another of your interruptions, Mr. Fender. Yep, see, I was on the defense team for IS-7, so this case is very much my concern. I was one of the pesky kids pushing the theory that the body had actually gone missing. The prosecutor at the time may have brushed us off, but you can't deny the testimony of your eyes. Or to put it a little more bluntly, the prosecution's case was rotten from the ground up. Then there's been a miscarriage of justice. It's the committee's job to fix it, no? Ooh, good job, Fender! Good job, Fender! And who better to help you unpack the mess than the one who was there at the time? Unless you have an ulterior motive. He is onto something. He is so onto something. This man is so on. I love Fender. He is so freaking cool. Oh my gosh, he's so freaking cool. Also, I love that first was not claimed until now. That's funny, Daedalus. Why is there just a judge here? In and out of the case. Your connection to the case is duly noted, but I fail to see how it concerns Mr. Edgeworth. Well, it was my dad. He's the son of the original defense attorney and the protege of the case's lead prosecutor. And if that's not enough for you, he was at the trial too. I think it's just possible he might have a little something to bring to the table, don't you? Very well. You both may assist in the investigation, but only if you refrain from interfering with the work of others. The winter wing is off limits for now. This room, however, is all yours. Alrighty, great to hear we're on the same wavelength, G. Why don't we bring it in, to show we're all on the side of justice. Do not test me, Mr. Fender. Your permission to investigate can be revoked at any time. Duly noted, Your Honor. This is a turn up for the books, eh, Milesy? We get to do our thing after all. Thanks to your immeasurable help as always. Heh, no sweat. Besides, I was mostly doing it for me. Heh. I'll be investigating my own thing, just holler if you find something. I will. It would be cool to, I think it'd be really cool to investigate, Fender, or not investigate Fender, to, cross-examine him at some point. Maybe he comes up with a different theory than we do. Heck yeah. We're still unclear of two facts. How Mr. Frost's body came to be when we found it, and the source of the ubiquium. You're right, we need some more intel. Let's focus on the Ubiquium first. Oh, that's cool. Thank you, Daedalus. Hey there, Retro. Nice to see you. Look at that, 5 o'clock like I normally do. Just so you guys know, I will go back to 5 o'clock at some point. I've just been, you know, today I'm going to spend some time tonight with some friends as well. So I'm trying to get some stream time in. Oh my gosh, Larry is still here. Larry is still here. I'm trying to sketch the lovely Verity, and I just know it's going to be a masterpiece, so quit getting in the way. How far'd you get? I'm after my composition. Sure, it's a little early to be declaring it a masterpiece. What is this on the floor? From the color and aroma, I'd say this is a puddle of spilt tea. Oh! The Artie Frost! I guess somebody must have broke something. A certain high-strung somebody might just know a little something too. Miss Bound's tea set is laid out neatly. The pamphlet says the gallery is famous for its tea. And remember, Edgeworth already accused Judy Bound. Edgeworth already accused Judy Bound. Gosh, this case is so interesting. Understandably so, the cup we were given was delicious. Looks like all this stuff was designed by Mr. Frost. This dishware was made by Artie Frost. Looks very fancy. Willing to bet this set can fetch something in the thousands of dollars. Especially if he died. If the man died, yeah, his legacy probably went up too. The teapot. Hey, Edgy! What is it? You better be careful with that teapot, you hear? Why is Larry so concerned? Oh my gosh, my bae. She's my waifu. There she is. Honored guess. You know, she's sus. She's very sus, but I love her. She's sus. She's sus, but I love her. I can pour you a cup if you'd like. Miss Bound. Oh, Judy! I'm good, thanks. No tea for me. You two knock yourselves out. Thank you for the offer. Yes, why not? A quick break won't hurt. 2 cups coming right up. This smells great. Wow, it tastes even better than it smells. Thank you, Cowbell. That's funny. What type of tea is this, Mr. Edgeworth? It's Ceylon, I believe. Usually identifiable by its citrus aroma. Miss Bound, is this the same blend you served this morning? Why, yes. Is it all right? There isn't anything wrong with it, is there? No, not at all. It's just that the cup you gave me earlier had a slightly different aroma. Really? That's odd. I used the exact same blend. I can't see what would account for the difference. Hey, what's the big idea? Quit being mean about Judy's tea, will you? What's gotten under your skin, Larry? Nothing. You're just... Oh. It's Loris, dang it. You know what? I'm done. I'm not talking anymore. Well, that was childish, even for him. Let's ask about it later, shall we? Talking to Miss Bound is more of a priority right now. We may not have any evidence to prove that she's the culprit, but it does seem likely the poison gas was her doing. Yep, Edgeworth doesn't forget. Yeah, that's right, Sekai. Oh, he's quite a character, isn't he? Where were you before you rejoined us here, Miss Bound? I had to go and tell our visitors we're closed. I went and hand out a little something in apology. Was there something you wanted to talk to me about? Yes, a few things, actually. Not least of all, the fact that I think you might be the one who set the poison gas trap. The original ice sculptures melted 18 years ago. How did you manage to recreate them? Oh, you know about what happened back then. In that case, you might also know I took pictures of them during the contest. I commissioned the creation of a set of replicas based on those photographs. But why go through the trouble of creating replicas? Mr. Frost's Zodiac series was his great unfinished masterwork. I wanted to see it completed at last. Or rather, recompleted. It was my fault that the original set melted in the first place. I see, and is there any particular reason why the winter and autumn wings look so similar? Oh my, you really think they look alike? Perhaps I used some of the decorations from one and the other by the accident. She's clearly lying, but I don't have the evidence to prove it yet. I must admit I was a little surprised to learn that Gregory Edgeworth's son had become a prosecutor, but then I'm sure a lot has happened since. Yes, that much is certainly true, though I'll spare you the details. And yet the two of you are so alike. You may have chosen different paths, but I can tell you're every bit as righteous and noble as he was. That's very kind of you to say. When it comes to his work, my father always had the strength of his convictions. But right now I'm like a ship lost at sea. I'm not even sure which way to go, let alone who I should be. That's interesting, Edgeworth. That's an interesting thing to say. It seems the police have already moved the body. And why was it all rotten and stuff? Did it slowly shuffle its way here? I need to remind you that zombies aren't real. It seems likely the body was preserved somehow. Is that even possible? Mr. Forensics Guy, anything to report? Traces of both ubiquium and asphyxium have been detected in the fountain. I'm going to say that they were probably carried here by the stream from the autumn wing. In addition to those two chemicals, there's also a large amount of sugar. The composition of the sugar is being analyzed. Wow, the sugar. Sugar in the fountain. Where would it have even come from? Hello there, dearie. Still investigating away, are you? Have you found anything interesting? Sweetheart is for when you're being sympathetic, of course, and treasure is for when they're being a bit of a tiz. Love is for people you're not keen on, and peddle is when you're trying to get someone's attention. Wow, I didn't realize there were so many rules. Mr. Edgeworth, peddle, I hope you're getting all this down. Oh, dearie me. Honestly, her being English does make me think that Judy Bound being French would have been a good idea. I know that the fan translation did that. And I'm not going anywhere. You'll have to go around me. Would have thought you might want to move to a better spot. I demand you show it to me at once. Selection of trophies won by Paul Halik. Evidently, he was a very well-respected artist. Gosh, this is so interesting. I really don't know what the deepest connections between all these characters are. Like, this picture? There's got to be something to this, don't you guys think? Do I have any logic that needs to be placed together? Ooh! Ubiquium in the tea? Ubiquium in the tea? Oh, okay. I guess not. Darn. I mean, I don't know. Maybe. You sure about that, Edgeworth? Sculpture of a brave warrior battling a serpent. Fascinated by fantasy and mythology. The tragic yet gritty determination of the young. The math test. Anything else interesting to investigate? Did Pahalik make these? Yes. Talk about putting your goddess on a literal pedestal. The thing in front of the door is a fir tree. Okay. I'm gonna keep this simple, Larry. You're hiding something, so just tell me what it is. I love that this literally always happens. Whoa, quit with the glare off, you two. It's weird. Ah, come on. You know me better than that. I wasn't staring, I was struck by an idea for a picture. Now, Edgy, he was glaring. Yes, and I'll keep glaring at you until you tell us what it is you're hiding. Quit, I already told you I'm not talking to you anymore. You're talking to me right now. I mean, from now on, I'm not talking to you ever again, starting now. This is getting me nowhere. I suppose I'll have to figure out what he's hiding first before I can get the whole truth out of him. I love this theme. Come on, Larry, what are you hiding? Not saying. certainly wasn't playing. Should we get one of the ladies to talk to him? Oh, he'll talk. Don't you worry about that. I need to know what Larry is hiding, and I think I might have an idea of what it is. Perhaps presenting him with the right piece of evidence will force him to come clean. Well, he broke it! Would you mind taking a look at this for me, Larry? Why would you show me that? Tell me, what is it about Miss Bound's tea set that's got you so agitated? No. If you won't tell me, then perhaps you prefer to explain it to Judge Gavelle. Wait, don't make me look bad in front of Verity. She thinks I'm sensible, cool, clean-cut guy. I don't want her to see the real me, the real low-down dirty me. I'm not so sure anybody here thinks you're particularly clean-cut, Larry. But if you don't want her to think badly of you, the best thing you can do is talk to me. All right, I'll talk. All right, Larry, enough is enough. Now confess. Oh, is that any way to treat your best friend, Edgy? Huh. Is that any way for you to treat yours? By lying to him? Hiding things? I got the picture already. Stop glaring at me like that. I'll tell you everything, all right? Earlier, I thought Verity might like a cup of tea, so I went to pour one for her. But I got distracted and my hand slipped and smash! I broke the teapot! It's in pieces because of me! No words exist to describe how far away I saw this coming. You really messed up this time, Loris. I love that she still calls him Loris. Judy's never gonna forgive me for this. Crying to me won't do you any good. I think you need to apologize to Miss Bound. Look at him groveling. My teapot, I see. I'm sorry, Judy. I'm so sorry. I don't have any money, but I'll paint your portrait. I'll paint you 50. Please, Mr. Donim, it's really me who should be apologizing. How could I have failed to notice that there were broken pieces of ceramics on the floor? Somebody could have been hurt. Here, let me make sure that's safely disposed of. The teapot in question was designed by Odie Frost, correct? I understand it was something you've long treasured. You must be upset. Oh, I am. But of course, all things break eventually. And as luck would have it, I have another identical teapot. It's far from the end of the world. Is she less attached to Mr. Frost's work than she used to be? I can't believe this, Judy. You're the sweetest, the kindest. Oh, the other teapot you're talking about, it's the one sitting on top of the cart. What do you mean? Yeah, so when I stashed the first one, I tried to hide the pieces in the bottom of the cart. And that's when I saw the other pot from under there. Larry swapped the two pots. Oh, I see. Yep, and that's everything I have to tell you. I'll be extra careful not to break the other one, I promise. You have no shame whatsoever, do you? Oh, I'm sorry. Where's Pizza Roll to see that? See, Edgy, isn't Judy just the absolute best? I trust you won't take advantage of her kindness and will make some amends somehow. I sure will! Once I make it as an artist, I'm gonna give her one of my paintings. She was one of my models, after all. It's only fair. At this rate, I suspect he's likely to make more trouble than amends. Don't you think it would be better for you to keep out of her way for a very long while? Oh, but I won't be keeping out of her way! Her and the others. Keen to see my work, huh? Yeah, I drew a few great sketches. Wanna see? Interested in Loris's ravishing beauties, eh, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm afraid you've greatly misjudged, Kay. I simply wish to see if Larry has captured any unusual details this time, too. Unusual details? Nothing's unusual. They're my best work yet. Really? Now I want to see them, too. Aw, you're a sweetheart, Kay. Alright, let me dig them out for you. Give me a sec, okay? I suppose we may as well take a look. So, these sketches of yours. Seriously, Edge, if you want to check out my art, you should have just asked from the get-go. Feast your eyes on this. Okay, those are actually pretty good pictures. What am I looking at here? I told you already, ravishing beauties. Just a few of the fair faces that have caught my eye since I've been here, you know. There's Verity and Judy and, somebody else. Why did you draw them all on the same page? Well, I meant to draw the room at first, just something to pass the time. And then I saw one beauty and another, and well, I just scribbled them all down as I went. So they were all drawn at different times. Huh? Yeah, I guess. I did one of you too, Kay. You're on a different page, though. Wow, you did? Hee hee. I'm flattered. How true to life are these sketches? Did you only draw what you actually saw? Of course! You think I drew things I can't see, like using my imagination? Nope, these are 100% true to life, right down to the exact shade of each color. Much as it pains me to admit it, Larry may have provided me with a useful piece of evidence. The serving cart in the sketch, for example. If I compare it to the one in the room, there's a clear contradiction. I think a little deduction is in order. Could I borrow this page for a while, Larry? You want me to sign it for you? Just the page, please. Oh, right. I forgot that he made the thinkers. That's funny. Sorry, give me a second. So I guess it's just any part of the top. Indeed. Where are those darn candies?
Eureka!
Larry, could I ask you something about your sketch? Fascinated by the work of a great Lourdes Dunim, huh? It's the composition, right? Not exactly. The light blue tablecloth, you painted that exactly as you saw it, correct? I already told you, everything's exactly as I saw it. But the tablecloth in the cart here is white. Your head's so full of crazy theories, the simple stuff just passes you right by, huh? That is interesting. The blue cloth was a big part of the past. It can light up and change colors. What kind of business? That's right. It was the hiding the pieces of the teapot I smashed kind. That's nothing to boast about. Anyway, I was still in the middle of cleaning it all up when Judy came out of the winter wing. I didn't want to get busted for breaking the pot, so I quickly dove out of sight. Larry is so funny. Wait, Miss Bound came out of the winter wing. Yeah, and she was pushing a cart. A different one. That's the one with the blue light tablecloth. And what did she do with the second serving cart? Well, I saw her wheeling the summer wing. I don't know what happened to it after that. When she came back out, she was pushing one of those other carts, the kind you can lift stuff with. A lift cart. So I called out to her, but she just ran off and left it all behind. Never had her down as the shy type, but it just goes to show you never know. Another serving cart and a lift cart. Is there maybe another tea set too? We better check with Miss Bound. Are there two serving carts here at the gallery, Miss Bound? Oh, yes, why do you ask? A certain so-called artist showed us the sketch. I couldn't help but notice the color of the tablecloth. It's light blue. Light blue? Oh my gosh, Pengerforce, nice to see you, dude! Holy cow! How are you, man? Feeney was originally studying the arts. Is that right? Was he when he has the pink sweater with Dahlia? That's right, because it took Mia to get him, like, officially on the path of being a defense attorney. Like the perfect wrinkle-free one on the cart. Exactly. If I saw so much as a blemish, I would have placed it right away. Could the color of the tablecloth in the sketch simply be a mistake? You have any idea of what you might have been doing with the sketch? The tablecloth can change colors. I'd like to ask you a little more about these duties, if I may. Yeah, Pinkerforce, how have you been? What have you been playing? What have you been up to? From what I can see, your cart doesn't have a tea set on it. I was delivering some chocolates to the investigating officers. Aw, now I'm jealous. I love chocolate. Well, there are several left over, so here for you both. I made them myself. I hope you like them. I wonder if there's ubiquium in the chocolate, too. Well, why not? They're a little melted, but I suppose that's because they've been sitting around in her pocket. Yo! Transfer into a foyer, that's a great idea. Okay, wait. Larry as a court sketcher is hysterical. That's true, and he does have a good eye. Perhaps I could do with a little less sugar. Was there anything else I should present her with? The hunt is on. The truth will come out, but I don't know. What's that about? Have I inadvertently stumbled on the set of Kate Crimes the Musical? Oh my, is that me? Yes, it was painted by the so-called artist over there. It's wonderfully drawn. Would you mind if I kept it? I'm sorry, Miss Bound. I'm afraid it's an important piece of evidence. Oh, I see. It's a shame. I suppose Larry's charm is something of a talent if he can impress a gallery owner with sketches like these. Yeah, it actually is amazing that Larry's a decent artist. Do you like my chocolates? Yeah, they were super sweet. I love them. Hee hee, I'm happy to hear it. Samson has such a sweet tooth. Her love for her family shines through in how they taste. Delicia gave me a few of these cloths. They light up when you attach them to a special device. How many did she give you exactly? If he saw April May or Mia Fey, oh my gosh. 4 luminous cloths in the autumn wing. I got the feeling Miss Bound is hiding something. What are Fender's comments, I wonder? Oh, I see. I suspect the difference in aroma we notice is due to the teapots having been switched. I can't see what else it could have been. The tea itself hadn't changed. Why don't we ask Miss Bound, just to be sure? Miss Bound, the difference in aroma we noticed, do you think it could have been because of the different teapot? I suppose so. My cup just now had a subtle minty taste, rather like uva tea. Oh, I just remembered I made some peppermint tea in that pot only yesterday. That must be where the minty aroma is coming from. Oh, wow. Could that really be it? Ubiquium is minty. The tea from the teapot Larry switched is from under, smelled faintly of mint. Right, Miss Bound said she used that pot to make the peppermint tea yesterday. Yes, but there's something else that's been troubling me. Oh, by the way, Miss Bound seemed taken aback by the switching of the teapots and the breaking of one. You'd expect it to be the other way around. I suspect she may have been deliberately hiding the teapot underneath the cart. One of Ubiquium's key characteristics is its minty fragrance. So what if she had been hiding some of that in the teapot? It's simply a possibility, but one worth investigating, I believe. Pengu Force, you probably don't know this, but I have been selling a lot of my Mega Man and Pokemon stuff these past several months. Hit me up if you're ever looking for more things, because I know you bought stuff in the past. Hey, Monkey D. Shaw, nice to see you. Catch up on One Piece. My people are searching the entire gallery, but they haven't found anything yet. And what about you? Don't you know where it came from? I may have an idea. Ha! I knew it! And if I can't find it, there's no chance. A useless... Wait, what? You do know where it came from? Yes. Where? Miss Bound's teapot. Wow, nice piece. I like it. Yeah, this looks like a fitting prize for a natural-born winner. It's not a prize, it's a vital piece of evidence. Oh, it's just evidence. Well, then I'll have one of the forensic people check it out. Mr. Edgeworth, is there some sort of problem with my teapot? Possibly, the minty fragrance we noticed coming out of it. I think it might just be the scent of one of the chemicals used to make the poison gas. But, Mr. Edgeworth, surely you don't think I had anything to do with that? I'm afraid I do. The method used to create the gas would have required considerable preparation. Nobody would have had the time or the opportunity to set that up except for you. That's not strictly true. It took around a week to get Zodiac Hall ready for the exhibition. There were all kinds of people coming and going through here during my time, Delicia for one. So you see, I'm not the only one who could have set it up. Miss Scone is on our radar too, of course. You needn't worry about that. And besides, I wouldn't know the first thing about making poison gas. So even if you did find some ubiquium in my teapot, I wouldn't have had any idea what to do with it. But I suppose we should see what the test results say first. Ms. Bound claims she doesn't know the first thing about making poison gas. I need to find a way to prove that she's lying. Edgeworth speaking. Sir, it's me! Is everything alright, Detective? Everybody's left the Winter Wing, it's just left me in here now. Which means I can tell you what we found out. You really shouldn't be sharing information about the investigation. But after the past week or so, I'm not about to stop him now. The exhibits in here have all completely melted. All that's left is a display case and some stuff at the bottom. More of it in the Taurus case than the Gemini case, though. Describe this stuff for me if you can. Yes, sir! It's like a pale blue liquid. I had the lab run some tests just now. The sample from the Taurus case just had a bunch of sugar in it. But the one from the Gemini case had different substances in that. Which were sugar, salt, and blood. Blood? What are salt and blood doing in the Gemini case's sample? Can't imagine whose blood it could possibly be, but I'm gonna test it right away, sir. Please do, Detective. I also spoke over the radio with the forensics guy working on the fountain room. He said he just got word that the sugar they found in the fountain matches the sugar in the pale blue liquid. I see. That may well prove to be a significant development. Anything else to report, Detective? Yes, sir! We found one of those light-emitting devices here in the Winter Wing, too. It could be Tomatoed, yeah. He really is. He's like, he's a top-tier character. Seems the equipment from 18 years ago now is just for show. We need to talk to Miss Scone about this. Anyhow, I better get going back to it. I'll let you know when we hear about the lab. Yes, thank you, Detective. Was that Gummy? Seemed like he had a lot to say. He did, and all of it very useful. I'm going to prove that Miss Bound's claims about who could have set up the poison gas trap are false. Then I'll need to talk to a certain somebody else who was here 18 years ago. Miss Scone, I'd like to ask you a few questions if I may. Of course, dear, fire away. Anything for you, Milesy Smilesy? I'd appreciate it that was the last time you called me Milesy Smilesy. I'm not a fan of tooth decay either. I really like that Edgeworth does not like this nickname, but he doesn't correct Fender. I guess we tried. What can you tell us about the various devices used to decorate the exhibits? There seem to be some pretty specialized items in use. Light-emitting devices, luminous fabrics. Oh, I can tell you all about those, dearie. After all, I'm the one who gave them to Moody Judy. It was my way of saying sorry after I broke the rules all those years ago. I brought her 4 lovely new salt lamps, and I gave her the 4 pieces of luminous cloth. Wow, that's super generous of you. Tee-hee, well, us girls have to do our best, don't we? Not everybody understands. The whole bit's the same. 4 luminous cloths. But I'm sure I saw another one somewhere. I'm not lying. It's in my bag somewhere. I'm sure of it. What is she looking for? The cloth looks familiar. Let's jog her memory. You had a piece of fabric like this in your bag, did you not, Miss Scone? Albeit a somewhat grimier one. Grimy? How rude! You won't get people to cooperate with your little investigation like that, young man. Shall I call it a dish towel, then? Perhaps use it to wipe up some sort of spillage. A spillage, he says, the check! Or the cheek, the highly piece of specialized luminous cloth. Miss Scone, you're something of a specialist. How might someone learn to make the poison gas that was used in the attack, Well, any pharmacist who's ever handled Infesticide Ultra would know. After all, it says right there on the label, do not mix with products containing ubiquium, ever. What about a layperson? It's unlikely they'd know, would you say? I suppose so, yes. Well, not unless they'd had a nose through the Ultimate Cookbook. True. Whatever happened to the Ultimate Cookbook, I wonder? You're familiar with the contents of the book. Oh yes, dear, I know it inside out. Because I work for the Tangoro Group, you see. We're the company by head Cold Killer X. I'm sure you heard of it. Cold Killer X fights back sniffles and weasels with ease. The company took custody of the book, but they only grant their most trusted people access to it, of course. Which means Miss Scone is one of these elites, I suppose. Why didn't you want me to know that you had a piece of luminous cloth in your bag? Oh, well, I suppose there's no point hiding it now, is there? If you must know, I fished it out of the fountain. It was right before they called me into the Autumn Wing. So Larry's sketch of Miss Scone is when she was trying to retrieve the cloth. At first, I thought it was one of those ones I'd given Moody Judy. One of the 4 you'd given to the gallery, correct? Exactly, but all 4 were being used in the Autumn Wing. So I realized it must be the one that went missing all those years ago. I already had my Infesticide Ultra pinched and used to make poison gas. If one of my cloths turned out to have been used in some sort of dastardly deed too, well, I was going to look guilty as sin, wasn't I? So I kept it hidden in my bag. I see. Oh, it does feel good to get it off my chest, though. Stress is no good for the complexion. So the cloth that disappeared 18 years ago, the one that the victim was wrapped in, just happened to reappear in the fountain at the same time as the body. This is so suspicious. I guess the body must have frozen. The Ultimate Cookbook. Anything else to show? What kinds of pharmaceutical recipes are in the Ultimate Cookbook? So many, it would take a while to go through them all. But if you really want to know, well then let's start the show. Come with me, now one by one we'll sing the things that the world's little cookbook brings. Okay, not as helpful. I don't think you've gotten away with anything, Mr. Edgeworth. I'll be reporting your actions to the committee. Do whatever you need to do, Judge Gavelle. You are the self-styled as great thief, correct? I love that. Okay, there must be something to show her. Have you read the Ultimate Cookbook, Miss Scone? Of course I have. I'm a pharmacist, you know, even if I wear a big pink hat. Oh, so do I. So do I. Aren't you a sweetheart, my little tooth decay? Since when were you interested in pharmaceuticals? Shh, I'm working on my magic, Mr. Edgeworth. Buttering up so she'll do what I want. I was wondering if you could maybe... Nope. How many times, you cheeky little imp? Once your name's decided, I can't change it. I love Tooth Decay. I guess I've already shown this, yeah. And she's like, can I get a new nickname? Can I get a new nickname, pretty please? I wonder if that Gemini case matters. It's like maybe showing that to Judy. 'Cause I'm not sure what else there is to investigate. Maybe Fender? Hey there, Malzarino. What's the situation with the investigation? Things are progressing. I think a fuller picture of what's happening is beginning to emerge. Guess I better step up my game too, then. This case seems to have a lot in common with the incident from 18 years ago. And how? It's got a lot. Melting statues in the Winter Wing and even the murder weapon victim's body. How did nobody ever figure out the body? Frost had no family apart from his son. And well, kid kind of vanished. Nobody's seen him around since the time of the incident. Gusto's kids, too. Him and his best pal from school just up and vanished. What? And they were never found? Gusto's body wasn't. Not as far as I heard anyway. Hey, Ladybug! Nice to see you, Ladybug. Hello! What were you guys playing today? Guess Frost's kid turned up in the end, though. He collected his inheritance at some point. But yeah, with no family around just after the incident, Frost got no funeral, no nothing. So no need for the police to release the body. Mega Man X8. I've actually never played X8. I've played X1 through X6. Haven't touched 7 or 8, though. They filed their fake autopsy report. Nobody was any the wiser. I can't believe Mr. Von Karma would have stooped so low. Tell me, Fender, what kind of person is Miss Bound? Wait a minute. Don't tell me I got a thing for her, Milester. I do not. Chill, chill. I'm just yanking her chain. Anyway, what can I say about Jude's? Well, she's a real brave trooper for one. What else do you call someone who waits around for 18 whole years? You know what I think? I think Fender is going to defend Judy when we accuse her. That's what I think. Even after his extended family kicked her out of this place. What? They threw her out? Yep, Jude's wasn't technically part of the family. So there was nothing she could do. She had nothing, nobody, and no job after Samson took the fall. So she had no choice but to take what he taught her and make her own way in showbiz. She retired from all that by now, though. Yes, why did she retire? She had finally made enough to buy the old place back. She even got the Ultimate Cookbook back! Wow. After they basically stole it. Ladybug, how are you, though? Nice to see you. I guess this place and everything to do with it was all she ever cared about. She just wanted it back, all of it. Fender seems very sympathetic to Miss Bound's plight. But from a less charitable perspective, she has in a way taken everything of Mr. Tangaroa's for herself. I love that. The difference between a prosecutor's mentality and a defense attorney's mentality right here. Alright, so let's draw that logic together. The Ultimate Cookbook contained instructions on how to create the poison gas. And the current owner of that book is none other than Judy Bound. No way, you mean? I'm afraid I do. Miss Bound would have been perfectly capable of setting up the gas trap. Finally, we can prove that she's been lying to us. Well, how do I initiate this? Huh. No worries, yeah, go to bed. No worries. Very much appreciated. Thanks for popping in here, Ladybug. Very sweet of you to share your crew with us. Hope you're doing very well. Hope X8 treated you very, very well as well. So nice to see you. How do I get her to talk? I guess I'm just gonna present the stuff that seems most likely. I would have thought it'd be the Ultimate Cookbook. Toon! Toon, do you think that she's cute? I know she's not a boy. Do you think that Judy Bound is cute? How is it not the cookbook? No, not really. Poor taste. Poor taste. What am I supposed to show her? This feels odd. I'm kind of confused right here. I'm not gonna lie. There must be something or someone I'm... Maybe if she was blonde and Mormon. Oh my gosh, this girl. Somebody stop her. The ultimate cookbook. I'll bet there's some humdinger recipes in there, huh? I mean, not that I can think of. What about you, Castorino? I guess I'd like to be a genius and invisible. I wouldn't be able to fly. We're talking about medicines here, Kay, not miracles. No one's perfect, I guess. That's not my thing. That is not my thing. That is not my thing. Pizza roll. Pizza roll. That's funny. That's funny. That's right. The ultimate cookbook has got iced cereal up in here. Cito, go away! Don't talk to her about anything. Don't talk to her about anything. Ignore her. She's a little gremlin. Can we enter the wing, maybe? I've talked to Winner. I've talked to Gavel. I'm out of logic. Maybe I should examine... Oh, I should examine the residue, maybe. I guess I've already looked at that. Why is there a lift cart just sitting here out in the open? You guys want me to... Demicon in Utah. Oh my gosh. You're like 18 years ago? It's all coming back to me now. I last saw it in Frost's room. He must have used it to move the ice sculptures around. It's one of those fancy numbers where you can change not only the platform's height, but even its angle. Ooh, Dashi, hello. Nice to see you. 12k away. Doesn't explain what it's doing here, though. Bit of a head scratcher, but we should give it a think, yeah. After all, it might just have something to do with our case. There we go. Demi. You guys want to do a Camp Demi in Utah? Dashi's second title will be Meat Master or Best Girl. Oh my gosh, Mormon Central. How do you guys think I like? You guys think I like Mormons? Freaking Toon. You say one thing to her and she'll never forget it. You say one thing to Toon Doulahan and she'll never ever forget it. Ridiculous. And that was a dream. That wasn't even actually saying anything about anything. Ooh, I like Meat Maiden. I like Meat Maiden a lot. Just like Mr. Edgeworth said, there was ubiquium in there. Curse you! You better not think this means you beat me. You really need to drop this obsession with coming in first, Mr. Winner. We're all on the same side here, remember? We're all trying to get to the truth. But first is best. Okay, this is funny, because I actually feel like Von Karma would... I mean, he wouldn't like this numbskull, but... Why don't I take care of things for now? In the meantime, you can go perform the far more important task of going around checking on the victim. They have lots of soda and cookies, Pizza Roll, because there's no coffee or alcohol. So sugar is their main vice. Sugar is the main thing that they do for that. Tune and Shrug Ross right now. I had no idea there was anything like that in there. Perhaps it's one of the ingredients in the dishwashing soap I use. So you are telling the court that you did not intentionally put ubiquium in the teapot? Yes, exactly. Why would I? Until today, I had no idea it could even be used to make poison gas. You're a trained actress, are you not, Miss Bound? I'd have thought you'd be a more convincing liar. What do you mean? You have the ultimate cookbook. It's perfectly possible for you to know exactly how to make it. You're very well informed, Mr. Edgeworth. Miss Bound, is what Mr. Edgeworth said true? The book does contain info how to make the poison gas, yes. But the fact that I have seen it doesn't make me guilty. Can I ask exactly how the gas was triggered? The victim used a blowtorch to heat the lid of one of the display cases, thereby melting the ubiquium. I see. But he locked himself in the room too, didn't he? Surely that and the fact that he triggered it himself. Wouldn't it point to it being a suicide attempt? So she's not willing to admit anything. Furthermore, where would I have gotten a hold of the infesticide Ultra? Oh, I don't know. Perhaps you stole it. You know, I did bump into Moody Judy a week or so ago, and that very evening I noticed my infesticide Ultra had gone missing. Judy! Surely you didn't. I love Coke Zero. There would have been any number of opportunities for someone other than myself to steal it from you. That's true, and I don't have any hard evidence that it definitely was Miss Bound who stole it. Judes, there's clearly something you're not telling us. Why don't you just come clean, We all know you'd never hurt somebody for no reason, so... Not you too. You think I'm guilty as well, Mr. Fender? Can you blame me? We got one wing disguised as another, a gas trap in one of the display cases. And you're the proprietor of the establishment. It's looking a lot like you did it, kiddo. He is so competent. You have to remember, the gallery doesn't have any security cameras or security personnel. If some ill-intentioned person wanted to get in undetected. Oh, I'm happy to... Toon, you would have loved the young version of him, I think. I don't know. Does anyone have any... Are there any clips of the young version? Can someone send her a... Can someone find young Fender? She might like young Fender, too. Wow, you're practically asking to be burglarized. Be more careful. A great thief could have a field day in there. Chagraz is a Pepsi man. Mr. Gusto did in fact enter the gallery before it opened. Judy's one tough cookie. She's not budging an inch. Maybe it's time to rock a little technique Gregory taught me back in the day. Ooh! And what technique might that be? So hear me out. Everything's connected to what happened 18 years back, yeah? And since we're not getting anywhere by focusing only on the here and now, maybe we ought to approach this from a different angle and look to the past for clues. A turnabout in thinking. So my father used this method as well. Alright, let's run through the old Thinkatron. I would, you know, did you guys know that I had that Pepsi, the rare Pepsi DS? I've thought about doing a Pepsi Man stream one day. Maybe if we reach like a stream goal or something, that'd be kind of fun. And someone should find me a Pepsi Man outfit because I don't know where to get one. Is it possible that she? Thank you, Fender. Oh no worries, Caesar. Good to have you back. Take it away, Milesy. I'll grab the popcorn. You say that you were the one who caused Mr. Foss Creations to melt 18 years ago. I'm afraid so. I was young and foolish. Terrible accident. And yet what you did allowed you to open up this exhibit, no? What do you mean? Yes, what do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? If you're going to ask such questions, perhaps a formal testimony from Miss Bound might be best. Perhaps it might. I'd like to know a little more about Zodiac Hall. And about why Miss Bound decided to dedicate the space to Mr. Frost's works. Very well, if you believe it to be relevant, I will allow it. Hey, you got pizza! Nice! We ate pizza last night. I didn't get any pepperoni, but we ate pizza last night. Wait, this is the real thing? I'll click on Cito's link here. Oh my gosh, that's ridiculous. $55. I guess 60. Wow. Okay. Someone should post that in the good or bad ideas channel. That'd be a fun stretch goal. It took 18 years, but at long last, I was finally able to buy Samson's home. But a place like this is expensive to maintain, so I decided to turn it into an art gallery. I went to Shakey's. If you guys know what Shakey's is Shakey's a place outside of California? Probably not. Because if I'm honest, it's always been something of a dream of mine to open up a space dedicated to his work. Thank you for your testimony, Ms. Bound. Wonderful it is that you were able to fulfill your dream. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, everything seemed entirely above board to me. Judge Gavell, that was simply the witness's preliminary statement. As you surely know, the value of that testimony cannot be evaluated without due cross-examination. Yeah, there's a few Shakey's in SoCal. Not a ton of them, but there's a few. And I got some vampire fangs. And I won 500 tickets in Crossy Road, even though it didn't tell me, and even though I didn't actually get them. 18 years, I was finally able to buy it. But a place like this is expensive to maintain.
Hold it!
Let's see. 18 years. You must have gone through a lot to buy it back, Miss Bound. This home, this place, such memories abound. I couldn't stand to lose what I had found. I love her. I love her. Be innocent, Judy. Well, you're guilty of something for sure, but I don't think you're the killer of Artie Frost. Here's what I think. I think Little Miss Pharmacist, she worked for the company. She wanted to kill Frost because Frost was going to win the cookbook. Frost was going to win the cookbook and take it away from the company. And maybe Judy Bound set up all this to frame Little Miss Shorty Pharmacist Girl. That's my theory. Brain blessed. How does she make it look so easy? It really is sleazy. I know, the cases in this game are really long. Wouldn't expect any less from a trained triple threat performer. You can continue with your testimony, please, Miss Bound. Minus the singing, if you please. But a place like this is expensive, so I decided to turn it into an art gallery. To that end, I collected many Paul Holique pieces that I could from around the world.
Hold it!
Let's just try pressing everything. You managed the gallery by yourself, Miss Bound. Yes, well, we only opened very recently. I have to keep the mansion going. Can't have it falling down around me. Samson could come home any day after all. So she really got the house back for him. I'm so sorry, Judy. I wish I could have done more. Oh, you've done plenty, Mr. Fender. If anyone should have done more, it's me. Even if the only thing I can do right now is to keep this place safe for Samson. To that end, I collected as many Paul Holique pieces. Because if I'm honest, it's always been something of a dream of mine to open a space dedicated to his work. Let's keep pressing. Yes, he adopted it while he was working as a sculptor in France. I see. I'm curious about some of the pieces in your collection. More specifically, how you were able to acquire the Taurus and Gemini sculptures. It was my understanding that Mr. Frost died before he could complete them. Yes, I was able to create replicas for the Winter Wing based on photos of the sculptures he made. Right, he took all those photos years ago. Because if I'm honest, it's always been something of a dream of mine to open a space dedicated to his work. I was able to create replicas for the Winter Wing based on photos of the sculptures he made.
Hold it!
Those photos you mentioned. You mean the ones you yourself took in Mr. Frost's room? Yes, you certainly know a lot about what happened back then, Mr. Edgeworth. So those statues in the Winter Wing were just copies. And you didn't even get to see them before they melted. The sculptures in question were definitely not replicas. Which means Miss Bound is lying. It's such an awful shame after I went to the trouble to recreate them too. The sculptures in the Winter Wings weren't replicas of the very ones from 18 years ago. I need to show her I'm aware of that or I'll never get to the truth.
Objection!
Ooh, that didn't work. That didn't work. Alright. Shall we continue? So we have to show that these were the exact same. Oh, here we go.
Objection!
There we go. I should have read that. I'm afraid you've run out of the road, Miss Bound. You can lie all you like, but you can't deny the results of the test conducted on the sculpture's remains. And those tests leave no room for ambiguity. What you had on display weren't replicas, they were the very statues. Ooh, I could probably help explain how they worked it out if you like, dearie. It's the sugar, you see. You might think sugar is sugar, but the composition is actually very unique. You could probably recreate the statues, but the secret of their chemical makeup, no chance. Thank you, Miss Scone. I don't recall asking her for help, but still. To put it simply, the statues didn't disappear back because they'd melted. They disappeared because you spirited them away and kept them hidden. Oh! As a collector, maybe she just wanted to keep them? It's not the most out there idea in the world, assuming you had a big enough icebox. Quiet, all of you. Miss Bound, have you anything to say in your defense? So you've already learned that much? Should I take that mean you admit to having hidden them? No, I admit to no such thing. You haven't proven that I was the one who took those statues away. And you won't, because it would have been impossible for me to do so in the first place. The police were already here when they disappeared. How could I have done it without them noticing? Heh, how indeed. I don't yet know exactly how you did it. But I'm far from ready to say it was impossible for you to have stolen them away. Okay, that's guitar solo instead of sax. That's cool. Very persistent man, aren't you, Mr. Edgeworth? I won't stop until I get to the truth. I see. Then I better tell you exactly what I did on that day 18 years ago. The whole time before judging, I was waiting upstairs. During the judging, I had to go change the camera's film cartridge. But before I could take the camera back to Samson, I discovered Mr. Frost's body. Later, when your father arrived, we began to make the rounds and serve tea to everybody. That was when I saw Mr. Gusto entering Mr. Frost's room. And those were my movements on the day it all happened. I hardly see how you could take issue with any of that. That's for us to decide, Miss Bound. Are you saying there's a contradiction, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm more focused on proving the fact that she did indeed steal those statues. The question is, when would she have had the opportunity to do so? If I can pinpoint that, I might be able to prove exactly what she got up to. The whole time before judging, I was waiting upstairs in our living room. During the judging, I had to go change the camera's film cartridge.
Hold it!
Yeah, that was a little sus. Were you the only one who was able to move around freely during the judging? Well, I wouldn't say freely exactly, but I was able to move around more easily than the contestants. Even so, I could hardly have spirited the sculptures away while Samson was standing right there. And I ran off straight to change the film as soon as he asked me. So changing the film and the camera as requested. Was this the moment when Miss Bound stole the sculptures? Oh. Oh, I see. I have to keep asking. Okay. Alright, never mind, never mind. Before I could take the camera back to Samson, I discovered Mr. Frost's body. Later around, when your father arrived, we began to make the rounds and serve tea to everybody present. Maybe that's one. Maybe this is one. Just as you did today. Yes, I went off and offered everybody working on the investigation a cup of tea. Present company included, I remember it well. You were here, there, upstairs, downstairs, everywhere with that little cart of yours. Wait, was the cart? No, no. Okay, the cart is too small. The sculptures are too big. Right? I think he mentioned his saucer was cold. He did mention his saucer was cold! Fender has the best memory ever. Miss Bound, I believe this is when you stole the sculptures. The fountain room was full of witnesses at that point, Mr. Fender included. Are you suggesting that I somehow got the sculptures out of Mr. Frost's room? And it was very cold throughout the entire house. The entire house was cold, so the sculptures wouldn't melt.
Take that!
My father and Fender had no idea one of the sculptures was mere inches away from them, because it wasn't just a tea set you were pushing around. Okay, so maybe the sculptures are small enough that they could fit in there. Such a thing would have been impossible. How would a case of that size fit in a serving cart? It would have been spotted immediately. Who said anything about a serving cart? I'm not sure I follow, Mr. Edgeworth. What are you suggesting she used instead? I'm suggesting that she used this. Oh.
Take that!
Oh. The cart that Miss Bound used to move the flavored ice sculptures. And it would appear that the very same cart is still with us in the fountain room. Wow. Well, we originally bought it for use in the contest. And you're saying that Miss Bound loaded Mr. Frost's sculptures onto the cart and carried them off? I am. As you can imagine, all one would need to do is lay a case on its side, add a tablecloth. Wow! Okay, even I got fooled by this. Can it be? Holy moly, of course! That's why the sauces were so chilly. They were sitting on top of a big block of ice. Judes, how could you? Impressive. Then again, you are Mr. Gregory Edgeworth's son. I should have expected no less. There isn't a scrap of evidence that I sold those sculptures all those years ago. And yet, I knew that no matter what I said or did, I'd always be under a cloud of suspicion. So you admit it? You admit that you stole them from Mr. Frost's room? Yes, I do. I took those sculptures in their glass cases out of the room 18 years ago. As Mr. Edgeworth correctly deduced, I dressed up the lift cart as a serving cart to do it. And slipped in and out of Mr. Frost's room while I was going around serving tea to everybody. In the end, I'd removed not only the sculptures, but the flavored ice zodiac blocks as well. Zodiac blocks. I feel like I've seen them for myself before. There's a huge block of ice on display here. Must be incredibly heavy, though maybe not, what with it being hollow on the inside. If the Winter Wing really is an exact replica, then even though my father never saw them, the Zodiac blocks must have been in the victim's room back as well. When I finished moving the 2 ice sculptures and the 2 Zodiac blocks, I took 2 fresh, empty cases to Mr. Frost's room. Only the sculptures have been kept in glass cases, you see, to prevent them from being damaged. The blocks were a little more robust, so they had been displayed as is. As stated in the contest rules, we were responsible for providing all the display materials. Frost contained a few other ice works. Ah. And that is how the sculptures from 18 years ago came to be in the Winter Wing. I have to say, Mr. Edgeworth, that's quite the confession. Indeed, and I think she offered it so willingly because she knows there's nothing we can do with it. That's all I have to tell you. However, despite everything I've shared, you can't charge me with anything now, can you? Oh, the statute of limitations? Oh my! I would have thought you might know at least this much given we're at a crime scene. I suggest statutes for dummies. That is such Eustace Winter's book right there. Statutes for dummies. Simply put, Kay, prosecutors only have a certain amount of time within which they can put a suspect on trial. Let's take a closer look, shall we? Theft is 7 years and murder is 15 years. It's different for every crime. Murder 15 years, theft 7 years. Yes, Miss Bound stole the ice sculpture 18 years ago, so it's too late to have her arrested for that crime. I don't believe it. Theft is a serious matter, especially when it involves the removal of evidence from a crime scene. However, as you yourself just pointed out, Miss Bound can no longer be prosecuted for her crime, rendering your revelation rather pointless. Why is she so proud of this? Ooh, Edgeworth. Heh, I wouldn't be so sure about that. For you see, the theft of the ice sculptures isn't my principal interest here. I find the body that reappeared 18 years to be of considerably more interest. Are you suggesting that I also hid Mr. Frost's body? I am indeed. But how do you keep a body hidden for 18 years? By hiding it in a very unusual way. Are you telling me you know where the body has been all this time? It's not such a big leap if you think about what Miss Bound has told us already. Let's just say it wasn't just a flavored ice she removed from Mr. Frost's room. Is she a freaking weirdo and just kept the frozen body? She was so obsessed with him she kept the frozen body? Oh my gosh, is my waifu a freaking... Oh my gosh. It's either this or that. I mean, this has blood in it, which is really interesting. I'll start with this, and if not... Okay, a photograph of Mr. Frost's works. And of the victim's body, Your Honor. You will have to forgive me, but I don't see what you mean. Where exactly is Mr. Frost's body? I'm gonna try to double him down.
Take that!
The Gemini sculpture. Yes, it may look like a sculpture at first glance, but it is in fact Mr. Frost's corpse. Ooh, surely you can't be serious. I don't see anything in the photograph to support such a wild claim. That's because a certain piece of evidence was used to hide the body in plain sight. The court demands that you present what was used to conceal the body.
Take that!
One of the cloths from the Autumn Wing. Yes, when it's made to glow in the right way, it's so visually convincing you might mistake it for ice. Isn't that right, Miss Scone? Why, yes, dear, but you can make it look like just about anything, even blazing fire. And the right shade of blue would make it look like ice, yes, exactly like it, in fact. Is that not the case that a certain device is needed to generate these colors, though?
Objection!
Heh. If you would care to take another look at the photograph of the Winter Wing, Your Honor. You'll notice there was a small box connected to the bottom of the Gemini display case. Okay, Sleazy, you and Kits. That's so funny. You and Kits. How you picking Miss Scone over Judy Bound, man? Come on. That's crazy. Y'all are crazy, but I love it. I love all of you. Edgeworth is definitely him. In fact, this particular device was missing 18 years ago. Back then, it was no doubt firmly connected to the cloth on the inside of the display case, which means Miss Bound had no choice but to take it with her when she removed the sculpture. So you see, this cloth and the light-emitting device that were being used... Wow, his body was in fact a statue carved from ice. Wait, so you're telling me that when we took that photo of us in the Winter Wing, we were standing right in front of the body? Why were they found if the body was supposed to be in the Winter Wing? It was covered up, because there would have been no mystery as to how the body would have been hidden if we had found it as is. Miss Bound needed to remove Mr. Frost from the Winter Wing in order to throw us off the scent. Ridiculous. I don't recall her sneaking around behind our backs to throw a body in the fountain. No, and she didn't need to, because she had another method at her disposal. Her trusty lift cart, the same cart that had proved so useful in executing her original theft. I believe she wheeled the body into one of the other wings and floated it down the stream. The frozen body, being quite solid, probably got stuck somewhere along the way. Which is why only the cloth appeared at first. The cloth Miss Scone discovered. And then, the body followed afterwards once it had thawed enough. It's an ingenious theory, Mr. Edgeworth. But, can you prove that it was me? It seems a little unfair to expect me to accept your accusation without proof. What about an eyewitness? Do you think someone might have spotted her when she was moving the body? As a matter of fact, I do. And the contradiction is in the piece of evidence I provided. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, it's that blue cloth. I can't believe it's very compelling proof. Very compelling proof is a stretch. That is a stretch.
Take that!
More drawings. Oh, is she gonna look at herself? and is that me? Yes, Mr. Butstrue sketches of people as they pass through the fountain room. But what I'm interested in is the cart we see here. Miss Bound's serving cart, what of it? Heh, You don't see it. She's using the same trick she used 18 years ago. Ergo, we know she was busy moving the body. What? If I may, I don't see Mr. Frostbody anywhere in that sketch. All I see is a picture of me delivering chocolates to everyone. Hey, Bloons! Bloons, we were talking about Bloons the other day. Really allow me to direct your attention to the color of the tablecloth. I'd originally thought that Mr. Butts had made an error, but he's assured me that couldn't possibly be the case. This tablecloth appears to be light blue. Yes, a shade of tablecloth that Miss Bound doesn't seem to own. The cloth only appears to be light blue due to the body hiding just underneath. But the shape is perfectly rectangular. Surely it would be obvious if it was draped directly over the body. It was in that case. Not if the body had been placed inside one of the hollow zodiac blocks. Place one of those on the lip cart and it easily passed. Goddess of justice. Miss Bound, surely now you must admit that it was you who moved the body, just as you did 18 years ago. I didn't expect you to deduce all that from a single simple sketch. But that sketch alone isn't really enough to prove your theory, is it? Heh. You didn't worry on that front. My case doesn't rest solely on Mr. Butt's artwork. Once you disposed of the body, your serving cart became a simple lift cart. Which is exactly what we discovered in the fountain room. And without a serving cart, you had to find someplace to put your chocolates. My chocolates? The ones I was handing out? As we saw in the sketch, you had originally placed them on top of the cart. But the chocolates you gave us came from your pockets. Oh yeah, mine was half melted. It was still super sweet and tasty, though. Why did you suddenly feel the need to put chocolates in your pocket, Miss Bound? It was because you no longer had a serving cart to put them on, that's why. Ah! Oh, we finally did damage to her. One moment, please. You have explained what Miss Bound did with the chocolates in the lift cart. But, what about the tablecloth? Where did it go? Indeed, if stashing the chocolates in her pocket was the only solution she could think of, I doubt Miss Bound had the time to dispose of an entire tablecloth. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, do you have an answer for me? Wasn't it in the water? In fact, it's right here in front of us. Perhaps you would care to enlighten us. Glad to hear that, Bloons Fighter. It's a great game. Have you played the Ace Attorney games? Oh, I thought it was in the fountain, no? Uh-oh. Hate to say it, Malzo. Okay, I'm sorry. I just remember that that's where the lady found it. You know, thinking back to the first time I ever met Jude's. Oh, she's wearing it! Wait, that's such a great twist! She's wearing it! That's huge! That's so clever! Wow. Miss Bound has the tablecloth on her person and in plain view. In plain view? No, surely you don't mean Miss Bound. It's the cloth around your waist, isn't it? And given that the Zodiac blocks weren't kept in glass cases, that cloth would have been in direct contact with the ice. All we need to do is confirm my theory and test for the traces of sugar. The game is up, Miss Bound. It's time to come clean. You won't need to test the tablecloth. Everything you said is true. I stole Delicia's Infesticide Ultra, and I moved Mr. Frost's body, but she didn't do the crime. She didn't kill him. Oh. It was me. It was all me. Delicia, I'm so sorry. Last week I went to your bag and I took it. And then I put it in his pocket, hoping to make it look like he tried to do himself in. I also made sure to leave no fingerprint but yours, just in case the police suspected foul play. But Jude's, why? Weren't we supposed to be on the same side? All fighting together to free Samson? We were, but I couldn't afford to get arrested. Not yet. Not until I'd finally proven that Samson is innocent. I always planned to give myself up in the end, I swear. I know it's easy to say that now, but why do it this way, though? It's not like you. I'm sorry, Mr. Fender. I've caused you so much trouble. I had been the guilty party all along, ever since that day 18 years ago. Are you trying to tell us that the true culprit was you? I committed a terrible crime. I took those sculptures and I stole them for purely selfish reasons. The moment Mr. Frost died, they became more than mere entries in a confectionery contest. They became the final works of Samson's favorite artist. I couldn't allow them to just melt away. Not before he came home. And that meant I couldn't let anybody near them, not even the police. So I hid them. I knew it was wrong, but I just had to. I put them in the cold storage room for safekeeping. But what I had actually done was far worse. Because who would have thought that Mr. Frost's body itself was posing as one of the sculptures? So she didn't know about the body when she stole the sculptures? Samson is a kind man. A saint. He could never kill anybody ever. And yet, because of what I did, the police never found Mr. Frost's body, and Samson was found guilty. Wow, that's so sad. Wait, that's unbearably sad. After all he'd done for me, he was my family, the only family I've ever had. He was the most important person in the entire world to me, and Jude's. After his conviction, I was forced out of our home. I was finally able to return a few days ago, and when I did, I went to the cold storage room to check on the sculptures, and that's when I saw it. Mr. Frost's body had been there the whole time. Of course, by that point, the statute of limitations had expired. So I did today, because it was the only way I could think of to make things right. It seems I've misunderstood her intentions. That's horribly sad. It's really been for Mr. Tangaroa's sake. What are you thinking about, Mr. Edgeworth? Something that's been puzzling me. Why did Miss Bound use poison gas? Why not a more reliable method? And why disguise the Autumn Wing as the Winter Wing? To confuse someone who was here 18 years ago. Did I nail it? Did I nail it? Did I nail it? She was trying to prove that Tangaroa was innocent. Miss Bound's ultimate goal was to find the true killer. Oh my gosh, this is so exciting. This is the best case 3 ever! Your ultimate aim was to see Mr. Tangaroa cleared of all charges. Hey, Protodemon! Oh, I love that balloons! Yeah, I know, I remember you from a while back. And to that end, you had to expose the real killer and have the police find your body. Is my understanding of your intentions correct? Exhibiting the sculptures was sure to force the killer to return to the crime scene. After all, they were the only person apart from you who knew the body. So they would have freaked out thinking the body was about to be discovered and come running. Exactly, but Miss Bound ran the risk that the killer might successfully cover their tracks. In the worst case scenario, they might even have been able to remove Mr. Frost's body. So how could she lure the true killer into revealing themselves without putting vital evidence at risk? Oh my gosh, this is so exciting. The Autumn Wing was the Winter Wing. You were betting on one thing, Miss Bound, weren't you? That whoever opened the Pisces case would be the real perpetrator of the IS-7 incident. That would mean the real killer was... Enough! Not another word! Do you realize the implications of what you're saying, Mr. Edgeworth? Are you prepared to stand behind the accusation you are clearly about to make? Okay, to be fair, it could also be, the other man. Whoever found themselves caught in the trap is highly likely to be the guilty party. To accuse someone without any evidence is not to be done lightly. Should I really go ahead and make my accusation and name Mr. Frost killer nonetheless? Let's see if we can bait her. My ultimate goal is to see the truth exposed. And to do that, I need to seize the moment. That'd be a great tier list, Tito. I'd be straight down for that. I know exactly who was to blame for the IS-7 incident.
Take that!
Oh, it's not Scone? Okay, bummer. Uh-oh. Okay, I was wrong. It was the noodle, it was the confection guy then. Yikes. Character tier list would be fun too.
Take that!
Mr. Gusto? The victim of the poison gas attack? Gusty! Mr. Gusto. Ms. Bound, as we've established, you knew that the opening of the gallery would lure in the real culprit, and you set up the poison gas trap in order to catch them. Do you dispute the facts thus far? How dare I accuse her? I just thought it made sense. I thought it made sense that she would go to all lengths to get it back. Perhaps you could tell us exactly what happened in your own words. I have nothing to hide anymore, so I may as well tell you everything. As you said, I set a trap here in the gallery. Before we opened, I made sure the door to the autumn wing was the only one that was unlocked. When opening time came, I went to unlock the doors of various rooms. The killer's on the other side of the door. The thought, well, it frightened me. And then she simply walked away, leaving him to fall victim to her poison gas. When I heard Mr. Gusto was being treated for gas inhalation, that's when I knew he was the murderer. All that was left was for the police to find Mr. Frost's body, and then Samson would finally be proven innocent. At least, that was my plan. Judes, why didn't you tell me? You know I'm always here for you, right? We could have found another way. It didn't have to be like this. Thank you, Mr. Fender. You've always been very kind to me all these years. But I'm the one who created this mess, so it was up to me to try and clean it up. I didn't care what it took, as long as I could get Samson out of that awful place. Judy, Judy, Judy. 18 years ago, the police managed to cover up the fact that Mr. Frost's body had gone missing. If I went to them now and said it reappeared, I was afraid they might have tried to cover things up. So I worked to set off a very public incident here in the gallery, in front of as many witnesses as possible. I'm so sorry, Judy. You, Samson, Gregory. I let you all down. Fender. This can't be easy for him. No, I'm the one who should be apologizing. Mr. Edgeworth, Mr. Fender, I hope one day you can forgive me. And whatever punishment I have to face, I'm ready to accept. I love her. But please, if I may ask one thing of you, you must simply clear Samson's name. The way the truth of these past 18 years has come to light was unexpected, to say the least. And yet, it had only set us down a path towards an even more shocking end. To be continued! Are you serious? Holy cow! Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This is scary. I'm gonna have to leave at some point for dinner, but... Oh. Alright, has Gusto recovered from poison? Ms. Bound, are you feeling a little calmer now? Yeah, this is case 3. Yes. Good, then allow me to get to the point. Regardless of your intentions, you broke the law. Yes, I understand. Nevertheless, I understand that you did what you did in order to prove Mr. Tangaroa's innocence. Therefore, if the real culprit is truly someone else, we have a duty to reinvestigate the case. Get out of here! Get out of here! There was nothing to suggest anything nefarious took place in the official IS-7 incident records. What do you mean? The body is right there! They never had a body! How are you? I love you too! You're a waifu as well, but you're bad. You're a bad mommy, let me tell you. You know! The body was there! Oh my gosh.
Objection!
This is ridiculous. Official records cannot always be trusted, Judge Gabel. Especially since there are those prosecutors who would think nothing of twisting the facts. You suggested the committee at the time overlook such a prosecutor. That's for you and your people to figure out. It's a fact the autopsy report was faked. Seeing as Mr. Frost's body was only found just now. Shaman Ninja, nice to meet you! Hello! There really is something of Mr. Von Karma in you! Wow. How so exactly? By continually defying the will of the committee and bending the truth to fit your needs, that's how. Perhaps it's time you understand how I know the committee sees this case. The committee's view. Oh, this is so interesting. The committee is willing to accept that Mr. Von Karma falsified the autopsy report. Mr. Von Karma only managed to have Mr. Tangaroa convicted as an accomplice. I personally have come to believe that the real culprit behind the IS-7 is Ms. Bound. Her plan to poison and kill Mr. Gusto today was her attempt to frame him for Mr. Frost's murder. I want pizza too, gang. This is how the committee sees things, is it? It is. As always, I act solely in service of law and order. It sounds to me like all she's doing is acting in service of the committee and covering up the truth. And if I can't change her mind, there'll be no saving Mr. Tangaroa or Miss Bound. Shaman Ninja, are you like Jammin Ninja from Ace Attorney? Or are you maybe is your name a different reference? Even still, Mr. Von Karma only managed to have Miss Tangaroa convicted as an accomplice. Pikmin! You know, I've actually never played a Pikmin game. I've actually never played a single Pikmin game. I'm kind of embarrassed to say it. Suggesting they killed Mr. Frost together? Why not? You can even imagine they split their roles as thus. Mr. Tangaroa could have been the one to commit the act itself, while Miss Bound was the one to remove the body. What? The thought that we could ever kill Mr. Frost? You stole his corpse and hid it for 18 years. Is it really so surprising you might be considering Miss Bound has freely confessed to all of her crimes. Now is not the time to speculate about what else she may have done in the past. Look at him defending her. Good job, Edgeworth. There was a little bit of Gregory Edgeworth in there. It's a cold case. Wait, that's so funny. This is literally a cold case. Oh, Shaman King and Naruto. Very nice. How do you feel about One Piece? One Piece is my favorite manga. He may have entered what he thought was the Winter Wing simply to see if the Gemini statue was genuine. Little did he know he'd be greeted by a trap designed to silence him. A trap that nearly worked. Do you have any evidence to support that line of reasoning? Unfortunately, Mr. Gusto remains in critical condition. It'll be difficult to prove anything until he regains consciousness. In other words, there was little we can do for now. On the contrary, there's plenty we can do. You still have not grasped the situation, have you? Then allow me to spell it out for you. You're right, John. Yep. John, first of all, nice to see you. That's exactly why I'm playing this. First of all, I love Ace Attorney, as you can see in my background. I have all my Ace Attorney merch set up in the back, including a blue badger. But yes.
Hold it.
It's great. I love the fact that we're finally playing this officially. In the matter of the IS-7, we have a body and a murder weapon and 2 suspects. As for the poison gas attack, we have the sources of the 2 chemicals and Bound's confession. We also have enough evidence to see that you yourself will have to answer to the committee in a formal hearing. What? Whoa! That doesn't sound good. Don't worry, Malzarino. If nothing else, you're always more than welcome at Edgeworth & Co. Your Honor, I'd greatly appreciate if we could stay focused on the matter at hand. We therefore determined there was no need to investigate the other case any further.
Hold it.
There's no loose ends to investigate, none at all. All the evidence has been examined at length, and there's nothing more to be learned from them. Therefore, I see no need to further prolong this trial.
Objection.
Your Honor, I'm certain there's something that still needs to be examined. The hammer's about to fall, Mr. Edgeworth. Only hard evidence can stop it now. Present what you think requires further deliberation now. Still, one thing we don't have an answer to, and it's up to me to point it out to Judge Gabel. Okay, hold up. Let's stop and think here. Okay, what are we missing, folks? What are we missing? Wait, you can get a large pizza at Costco for $10? I know about the hot dogs. What are we missing? The body? But we already know about the body. plan to poison and kill Mr. Gusto was our attempt to frame him as murder. We have all the evidence we need to explain both the incident and the gas. That can't be true. Oh, what are we missing here? The Ultimate Cookbook? We have the Ultimate Cookbook. Ooh! To explain the connection! No? We don't have to explain the connection between the two men? Come on. Let's try this then. Let's try this statement. Ugh, darn it. Darn it, darn it, darn it, darn it, darn it, darn it. The connection between the men is interesting. Maybe I should keep pressing these other things. If you accept the Mr. O'Connor, yeah. Why won't you reinvestigate it? The goddess of justice is never wrong. The verdict remains true.
Objection!
Despite blatant evidence tampering, you sure your precious goddess is into that? Almost makes you think the committee might have other reasons for not wanting this looked into again. Further investigation is simply unnecessary. Is that right? Yeah, some pizza places charge a ridiculous amount, don't they? I mean, the fact that Little Caesars can charge like $5 to $7, you know? Samson Tangaroa confessed to the initial investigating. The official record stated it was his interrogations that led to his conviction. Therefore, all I can say to you is that the goddess of justice has already spoken. Are these committee guys really all that big of a deal? In many ways, they are a prosecutor's worst nightmare. No, I had no idea, Daedalus. No need to investigate either case any further. What if we try Fender's case files? No? Oh boy. I'm floundering here. I'm floundering. Judge True with Goddess of Law. Oh my gosh, I'm floundering. I mean, this is pretty interesting. I don't know if that's any different, though, because isn't that just the body? Okay, sugar composition found in the pale blue liquid is the same. Anyone have any ideas? Only people who have not played this game already. I don't want to be forced fed the answer, but if you guys are speculating too. I mean, could it be the fingerprints? The fingerprints. I doubt that that's enough of a reason to reopen it. I kind of feel like it's one of these. Like, how did the statue happen? Or where Asphyxian was acquired, maybe? Although I guess we kind of know about that, huh?
Objection!
Darn it, darn it, darn it. Darn it, darn it, darn it. Oh, man. We kind of know about the Ultimate Cookbook already. Oh, is it the Statute of Limitations that matters? I mean, it's kind of beyond both of those, unfortunately. The statute expired for both of these. Your Honor, trust. Both the IS-7 and the poison gas. We don't actually know. Maybe the fact that this was falsified? Dang, 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 dang. Oh boy. I'm floundering here, This is tough. One thing we don't have an answer to. One thing we don't have an answer to. Oh, gosh. I mean, we don't know we don't actually know how he died. We don't know how Frost died because the body was tampered with. Oh boy. Oh boy. Maybe it's an earlier statement? Oh wait! Wait, that's not true! That he wasn't actually convicted as an accomplice. Or, I guess that's because Von Karma lied to Edgeworth. Oh gosh. I'm really grasping for straws here. Is it really those fingerprints? How? Oh, that they work together. Oh man. Oh man. Oh gosh, I'm floundering, gang. Is it really these fingerprints? I mean, the cookbook is here.
Objection!
Oh man, this is bad. This is really bad. This is really bad. Oh gosh, this is so bad. And I gotta leave kind of soonish too. Oh man. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We don't know what the cloth was doing in the water. I don't know, we do.
Hold it!
All the evidence has been examined.
Objection!
Oh my gosh. I don't know, y'all. I'm floundering. I'm gonna die. Oh, wait a second. Wait. Wait. Is it actually the statutes?
Objection!
Okay, I guess that was the wrong spot there, but that's actually really interesting. I'm gonna reload. Hold up. I kind of wonder if that was it. because depending on when you find guilty, maybe the statute's a little different. Oh, that was an auto load. Hold up. Oh gosh, I should probably get ready to go though. Okay, gang, I may have to call it here, which I'm really upset about. I thought for sure I was gonna finish this case. I can't believe how long it is.
Objection!
Okay, I'm gonna call it there, I think. As upset as I am about that. I'm sorry, gang. I gotta get going. Oh man, that's so annoying. I really thought we would finish this. I really thought we were gonna finish this. I would have bet a lot of money. I would have bet a lot of money that we were gonna finish this. Wow. And I'm stuck too. I'm gonna have to really stop and think. Okay, well anyway, good night to you guys. Sleep tight. I'm sorry, everybody. Especially all the new friends. And I will say, we are very much finishing this game. I will probably play more tomorrow. I'll probably play a little more in the morning. I want to finish this case before, you know, I leave for like a weekend trip. So tomorrow morning or something, feel free to follow if you're interested in checking that out. Should be some good stuff. So yes, we're finishing this case. I'm not going to the weekend without it. Catch you later. Sleep tight. Cabo, if you have anyone that you think deserves a raid, let me know. If not, it's all good. I'm happy to hear that. Happy to hear that, Stu. But yeah, Stu, also don't, I do appreciate you saying that. It's not a huge spoiler, but I don't necessarily want to know the length of cases either. So it's all good. Don't worry too much, but yeah. Anyway, good night to you guys. Sleep tight, and I'll see you tomorrow morning, I guess. I'm absolutely finished this game. Or at least this case.
What's the general dummy operation?